Part 21. They posted it upside down, and I'm actually not satisfied with it. Author, Lao He. Chapter 201. Anna Shen went downstairs for the first time in 2 months. Since Shen Tianfu ran away and there was no news for so long, she spent every day in panic. If it weren't for Xu Yanlin's apartment, there would be no place for her in the whole world, and she would have been taken to who knows where. The reason why this apartment is safe is because of Li Yuan. She hasn't gone downstairs for 2 months. She can only look outside through the window every day, which is no different from being in jail. And with the merger and acquisition of Tianfu Capital, no one in the circle she had worked hard to run in the past paid attention to her anymore. Well, there are also. A man asked her if she wanted to go out and play. Well, it's just the kind of play you imagine. Without her identity halo, she really is nothing. In the past, the top stars in the entertainment industry were very polite to talk to her and invited her to play from time to time. What now? No one talked to her at all. After all, they used to think about getting their father to invest, or to use themselves to get to know some capital bosses. Today is Saturday, and according to management, Xu Yanlin will come over. Finally, she no longer has to eat takeout. Fortunately, among misfortunes, this cousin is very kind to me. But today Xu Yanlin came a little later than usual. It was already 11 o'clock. She didn't have the nerve to ask. During this period, except for some necessities, she rarely bothered Xu Yanlin. Keep waiting and waiting. 12 o'clock passed. She started to wait a little longer. Although hungry. At 12:30, she received a message from Xu Yanlin. It means she is almost there. At 1 o'clock, there was finally the sound of the door opening. Then, she saw Xu Yanlin walking in carrying something. But her attention was not on the food mentioned, but on Xu Yanlin. Xu Yanlin changed her previous dressing style and even had her hair styled specially. The dressing style is actually very obvious. Most people's style is ordinary, because they think that's the best look, and they can't change it. They may also think that other people's styles look good, but they still won't change their own. If you want to force changes, there is only one way, and that is expensive. Buy expensive ones. The style of expensive clothes is not fixed, and there are not many choices. The style is changed subtly. Even without looking at the tag, she knew that Xu Yanlin's clothes were expensive. Especially the bracelet on her wrist. They look unremarkable, either fake, made of plastic, and cost a few dollars at a roadside stall. Either that or it's true, and a bracelet is worth hundreds of thousands. Cousin, come and eat quickly, the food is still hot. I had dinner with my seniors today, so I came a little late, but don't worry, the meals we packed back are all ones we haven't touched with chopsticks. I asked the waiter to pack them. Anna Shen hurriedly said, it's okay, why don't you stay with him for a while? I'll just order takeout. Although she said this, she still sat down immediately. I have never been so eager for a good meal in my life. She had never thought that this kind of mood could appear in her. Xu Yanlin sat next to Anna Shen and watched her eat. In her eyes, even Shen Anna, who was naked, was not as good looking as many people, and she would never be so good looking in her life. She also knew that during this period, Anna Shen was struggling internally and was very depressed. Only, she couldn't refuse Li Yuan's request. When Anna Shen was almost done eating, she asked, cousin, do you want to go out? Anna Shen raised her head, with longing in her eyes. But she still said, no, for now, I can still hold on. When I can't hold on any longer, I'll let you help. No one can help her except Li Yuan now. Xu Yanlin finally repaired some relations with Li Yuan, and she didn't want to cause trouble at this time. This is her last resort after all. The more desperate she is, the more she can bear it. Wait for a few more months, another year or two, and wait until Xu Yanlin's position beside Li Yuan is stable. The next second, Xu Yanlin took out a car key. Anna Shen was stunned for a moment after seeing it. Shuttle after a few times, well, just treat this car as yours. Xu Yanlin would never say anything about being a driver. Anna Shen looked at the scene and wanted to say something, but in the end she couldn't. Because she knew that this must have been instructed by Li Yuan. She smiled and took the key from Xu Yanlin's hand and said, "This car is better than mine, well, I will be your driver from now on. Even if you get your driver's license, I'm afraid it will take a long time to get familiar with it, otherwise poor control." "Hey, that's good. I'm going to transfer from Zhangzhou University to Zhangzhou Institute of Technology. The senior is still waiting downstairs. Let's pack up and go." "Okay." She doesn't have many things, mainly cat things. Xu Yanlin didn't have much left here. "I didn't bring cat litter or anything else, I just brought a little cat food." Then comes a cage, and the cat itself. Anna Shen would no longer say that this cat was a stray cat in the school. This is the bond between Li Yuan and Xu Yanlin. There is nothing more important in the world than this cat. If the two break up in the future, I'm afraid Li Yuan will take the cat back. Xu Yanlin carried the cage and a suitcase, and for the first time she had the confidence to walk into the apartment elevator. After getting off the elevator, we quickly came to the door. She saw the van not far away, and someone kept looking this way. However, Li Yuan's car and the Ferrari were parked at the door, and no one dared to come up. Li Yuan came over immediately, took the cage from Xu Yanlin, and put it in the trunk of his car. Then he said to Anna Shen, "Put the things in my car, and then you drive that car and follow us." Anna Shen whispered, "Yeah, okay." Wait for her to put her things away and quickly get in the car. As Li Yuan's car drove away, she followed immediately. In the car, Li Yuan put his arm around Xu Yanlin's shoulders and said, "Tell her later, if she doesn't do well, I will replace you." Okay, I will tell her." Xu Yanlin quickly agreed. After leaving that apartment, Anna Shen had no choice. If she was not with herself, she would definitely be taken away by those people. "I'll rent you a house in front of Zhangzhou Polytechnic School. I'll go there later." "Ah. Can I stay in the dormitory?" "Okay, dormitories will also be assigned, but you have to live outside. I will send you something there from time to time, and I will go over to check at any time." "Okay." Xu Yanlin could only agree first. She knew that Li Yuan just wanted to embarrass Anna Shen. But who made Anna Shen treat him like that before? She could only do her best in private to make Anna Shen less embarrassed. She was already working hard, but she couldn't change Li Yuan's mind. Zhangzhou University of Technology is not far from Zhangzhou University, about 5 or 6 kilometers. The house rented for Xu Yanlin is right in front of the school. Even if you walk, you can get there in 2 or 3 minutes after leaving the school gate. It doesn't really matter whether you want a car or not, but having one is better than nothing. The house is ready-made, and apart from adding some daily necessities, there is no need to prepare anything else. When he arrived at the gate of the community, Yu gave Li Yuan the access card he had prepared. Li Yuan handed one to Xu Yanlin, shook the one in his hand and said, "I still have one in my hand, so, I won't say hello to you when I come over from now on, but don't worry, I will, most of the time, it should be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday." "Okay. It's only 3 days, so she can stay in the dormitory most of the time." After entering the room, Li Yuan helped the cat to settle down and left. He didn't have time to participate in the next purchase. Yu was so busy that he didn't even eat lunch, so he made an appointment with Yao Yingsong at a restaurant. After the two met, Yu ordered food for himself without saying anything. Yao Yingsong could only help pour water first, and then asked, "Mr. Yu, isn't today Saturday?" There is no difference between Saturday and Sunday when it comes to the boss. It's better to be busy than anything else. At least you don't have to worry about losing your job. I'm too young. I learned a lot from Mr. Yu. Manager Yao, if the boss doesn't appreciate you, will he go to war to keep you here? Compared to me, the boss definitely wants young people to help him. I was in the office at the time and witnessed it with my own eyes. The contract hit Ye Sheng in the face. Yao Yingsong hurriedly said, "Yes, I am flattered by the boss's appreciation. General Yu's help must be indispensable for this. Although I am a low-key person now, I will keep these things in my heart forever." The business feud between the two has officially ended. When the food came, Yu ate something first. Yao Yingsong was not in a hurry and even picked up a new pair of chopsticks to help Yu pick out the peppercorns in the dish. After the meal was finished, Yao Yingsong took it easy for another half an hour before he said, "Mr. Yu, if you have something that you are too busy with next time, you can arrange for me to do it. Even if it doesn't work, I can help you. By the way, I'll learn from your experience together." Yu knew that this guy was here to steal his job. But it is true that he is a little unable to do many things now, and he may not be able to be busy. But he couldn't just arrange for Yao Yingsong to do things casually. Although Yao Yingsong was very powerful, he was still young after all. "There happens to be something, can you give me some advice?" Yu say. "It's like this. The boss was invited by the school and held a symposium. At the symposium, the boss promised to donate 1 year's salary to Zhangzhou University. But, the boss has no salary in the company. On Monday, someone from Zhangzhou University is here. What do you think I should do to resolve this matter?" In fact, Yu already had a solution in mind for this matter. However, the overall situation is relatively complicated, so it is perfect to test Yao Yingsong. If Yao Yingsong's technique can be close to his 60% level, then he can rest assured to arrange things. If Yao Yingsong's skills are better than his, then, this child must not be kept. Yao Yingsong asked, "Mr. Yu, does the boss have a bad relationship with Zhangzhou University?" Yu smiled and said, "How could I know that?" Yao Yingsong had no choice but to continue, "I think the boss must know that he has no salary." Yu had already begun to sentence Yao Yingsong to death in his heart. This guy got to the point right away. The point is, Li Yuan wants to embarrass Zhangzhou University. But then, Yao Yingsong said, "I guess the boss was blocked at that time and couldn't get off the stage. He didn't want to give too much money, so he simply promised a year's salary. Anyway, the company has the final say on how much salary the boss gets. Even if it's 3 or 5, how about 1 million? You can just give some to Zhangzhou University when the time comes." Yu put down the raised knife in his heart. This boy still lacks some fire. Not enough to worry about, not enough to worry about. Li Yuan definitely didn't want to give any money to Zhangzhou University. Moreover, the purpose of donating 100 million to Zhangzhou University must be to discuss Zhangzhou University. Sending Xu Yanlin to the school was just incidental. Every cent of the company's money is the boss's hard-earned money. Even if he gives a piece of it, he feels uncomfortable. Zhangzhou University didn't give anything to its boss. "Mr. Yu, these are just my superficial thoughts. After all, I don't know what the boss thinks." "Manager Yao, you are actually right. Why didn't I think of such a good idea before? Making everyone look good is definitely the best solution. I express your gratitude today. Do you have anything to ask me? I will also give you some advice." Yao Yingsong said with a smile, "These are all small things for me. The main reason is that the leader asked me to promote the second phase of the fund, but I know that the boss is in a bad mood and has never dared to speak. If you can help me speak in front of the boss, please give me just create a less abrupt opportunity." Yu immediately began to think deeply, and after a while he said, this matter is not that easy. This is the first time I have seen the boss get so angry. But, it's not like the boss is fine. Recently, the boss has been annoying taxes. As you know, Qingtian Capital enjoys almost no preferential treatment in Zhangzhou and relies entirely on social recruitment. And this year, it will have to pay 3.8 billion in taxes. The boss must be uncomfortable. This is a mess, and what Li Yuan did was a helpless choice. If Yao Yingsong can use his status as a major national fund to settle this matter, the follow-up will be much better. Yao Yingsong struggled for a while and said, "Doesn't the company have a fund? You can inject funds into it, and then it won't be counted as this year's income. If you put it in the fund, it will be counted as a financial gain. When you take it out and put it in the company's account, it will be considered the company's income. It's not that easy. The market is not good now. If you put it in for a month, you might lose more than 10 or 20 points. It's better to pay the tax directly." Yao Yingsong. The meaning of this statement is already obvious. I want tax exemption. Where can he get tax exemption? Isn't this just embarrassing? Manager Yao, as long as you can help the boss solve this matter, I promise to promote the second phase of the fund and strive to implement it as soon as possible. They posted it upside down, and I'm actually not satisfied with it. Author, Lao He. Chapter 202. Yao Yingsong knew a lot of things. After all, he didn't dare to come over to Yu rashly without investigating clearly. For example, Li Yuan promised 1 year's salary. It's just that he couldn't speak too clearly, because he was afraid that Yu would stumble him. But unexpectedly, Yu still threw him a big problem. It is actually very simple to avoid paying taxes. Either you can get the tax-free allowance or you can spend the money. Don't talk about him, even if he leads, he can't get tax-free privileges, so he can only think of ways to spend money. Spending money, but not really spending it, is the most important thing. But the question is there anything to spend money on that isn't really spent? Stuffing it into a fund is almost the only way. Buy gold? There really isn't that much gold to buy. Besides, gold is so conspicuous that if the tax authorities calculate it, it will be included in the calculation for you. Li Yuanying has a total of 19 billion to spend. Even if the second phase goes smoothly and 3 billion is crammed in, there will still be 16 billion left. This is too much money. He began to read through some of Qingtian Capital's recent plans. I bought Bixen, but it didn't cost much. Acquire other companies? It seems that he wants to acquire a lithium carbonate production company. There was not much news about this news from Qingtian Capital. Instead, there was some gossip from Oriental Lithium Energy, saying that Li Yuan called their chairman and made harsh words to make Oriental Lithium Energy go bankrupt. Although he thought it was unlikely that Li Yuan would say that, Li Yuan might actually have the idea of acquiring a company. Looking at the entire market, there are almost no options that suit Li Yuan. Either the market value is very low and it is a small business. Either it has already been listed, the equity is relatively dispersed, and acquisition is troublesome. The most important point is that no one may be willing to sell it. The situation was almost clear, but he didn't have the ability to take on the job. He might still have something to do about Chenji's matter, but Yu didn't mention it at all. It is enough to show that Chenji is not an important chess piece and cannot influence this negotiation. This matter is really going to break up, and it won't be good for anyone. But Li Yuan was obviously not afraid. Besides, this matter was related to his future, and he couldn't let it get into that situation no matter what. People's destiny must be fought for by themselves. He is not Ye Sheng. Well, the big national fund is not afraid, Li Yuan is not afraid, he is the most afraid of the whole thing. Grass. What is this? Fortunately, it's only the beginning of the month, so the leadership won't be too urgent. It should be done within a week or two, so it shouldn't be a big problem. He must now determine whether Li Yuan wants to acquire a company whose business overlaps with Oriental Lithium Energy. Xu Yanlin took out a small box and handed it to Anna Shen. "Cousin, here are some of your previous jewelry. The price they offered was too low, so I didn't sell them." After Anna Shen saw it, she was startled. So the money she spent during this period was given by Xu Yanlin? Although the cost is not much, if you include rent and other expenses, it will be 5 to 6,000. She originally thought that she didn't owe Xu Yanlin money, and wanted to find some psychological comfort for herself. "You take it first, and I will buy it back from you when I make money later." When Xu Yanlin heard this, she immediately took out the things and stuffed them into Anna Shen's hands. "Cousin, I don't want you to owe me anything, I just don't want to part with it. Also, we are the same now, we have no relatives, why would you want to see me outside? Li Yuan will be angry if he finds out. He doesn't know, so I won't tell him. From now on, we will just do it as a show. You can pick me up at the school gate on Friday night and send me there on Monday morning. You can do whatever you want at other times, with same as before." Anna Shen hurriedly said, it's okay, just call me if you want to do anything. I'm a senior and I don't have many classes, so I should help you run errands." "No need, I can do it on my own. The main thing is, when the senior comes, he has to aggrieve his cousin, so don't be angry." Anna Shen forced a smile and said, "I can still live in a big house and drive a car, so I am very satisfied. Even if you use me as a nanny, I won't be angry." No, we are cousins, not babysitters." While the two were talking, the door to the room was opened. Li Yuan walked in carrying some food and saw Xu Yanlin running over with a panicked expression. Trying to block something. "Senior, why are you here?" She thought Li Yuan wouldn't come over tonight. "Tomorrow will be quite busy, so there's a good chance I won't be able to come over. I just wanted to come over and tell you something." "Oh, let's go eat and talk." Xu Yanlin pulled Li Yuan towards the restaurant. "Go wash your hands quickly." "Oh, I'll be here right away." Xu Yanlin quickly went to the bathroom, and Li Yuan looked at Anna Shen. Anna Shen took a deep breath and came to Li Yuan with the box in hand. Said, "Here are some pieces of jewelry that I asked Linlin to sell to me. She was reluctant to sell them and transferred the money to me privately." Li Yuan asked, "Then why are you telling me this? Do you want to instigate a relationship between me and Linlin? Do you want me to know what she is doing behind my back?" As soon as these words were spoken, Anna Shen's face suddenly turned pale. She immediately defended, "That's not what I meant. I was just afraid that you would be unhappy after I accepted it. Linlin also planned to tell you, but she didn't have time. Since you know I'm unhappy, just don't accept it. Isn't there any purpose in asking even though you know it?" Anna Shen. Why is the scene so familiar? Just like what Li Yuan said when he explained before. Now is it considered that he is applying his way to his body? "I'm sorry, I will do my best in the future." She lowered her head and said. "Oh, that's fine. Since you have collected Linlin's money, those things belong to Linlin." "I see." At this time, Xu Yanlin, who had not yet dried her hands, ran out when she heard the noise. Seeing this scene, he immediately explained, "Senior, I wanted to, well, anyway, you gave me so many valuable things, and I don't like them, so. Well, it's your business what to do with your things. Come and eat quickly. When the food gets cold, others won't be able to eat it." "Oh, okay." Xu Yanlin was still very timid in front of Li Yuan and did not dare to suggest that Anna Shen sit and eat together. It was obvious that Li Yuan was still angry with Anna Shen. While eating, I quietly went to my room. There are 3 rooms here, all of which are large. They are no different from the villa rooms she lived in before, except that some things are missing. For example, there are piles of skincare products and cabinets full of clothes. Those things are now insulated from her. Even if you can find a job after graduation, you will most likely not be able to afford it. Besides, her college grades were mediocre, and it was unclear whether she would be able to find a job. If you just do odd jobs, you may not be able to support yourself. It would be a lie to say that I don't envy Xu Yanlin. I started to envy her a long time ago. Xu Yanlin didn't know that Li Yuan was rich at first, but she just thought it was interesting to get along with Li Yuan. In addition, Xu Yanlin had no friends and couldn't tell the difference between friendship and love. In the end, something happened and friendship was included in love. To be able to make Li Yuan pay so much, she knew that Xu Yanlin's identity was almost stable. Therefore, Xu Yanlin only needs to wait quietly for graduation and does not need to think about her future at all. It doesn't matter if you want to be an academic, if you want to work, or if you want to be a full-time wife at home. No matter what Xu Yanlin chooses, someone will pave the way for her. Once upon a time, she thought her future was like this. Whether you marry a powerful person or become famous in the entertainment industry, you can enjoy the freedom of life. It turned out that she was overthinking. Almost half an hour later, Xu Yanlin ran in and pulled her out. "Cousin, come and eat quickly. I still have 2 dishes that haven't been touched." "Where's Li Yuan?" "He's gone." "So fast?" "Well, he's usually very busy." Xu Yanlin knew very well that even if he skipped classes or didn't go to the company, Li Yuan would spend 7 or 8 hours in the study every day. Even if there are guests at home, it will not affect his work. Xu Yanlin also watched it nearby. She had studied finance for more than a month and knew what the data meant, but she still couldn't understand it overall. "He won't come tomorrow. Let's go shopping tomorrow. Tell me what my cousin wants to buy then, and I'll give it to you." "No, no, no, I don't have any requirements now. Life is pretty good like this. Anyway, just eat and drink. Just don't chase me away. If I drive you away, I will be alone. Don't you have Li Yuan?" "He is very busy." Xu Yanlin didn't know what she meant when she said this. It was because Li Yuan was very busy with work or he was very busy with his relationship. She only knew that she needed this cousin. She doesn't care how Anna Shen treats others, as long as she treats herself well. That's why she would protect Anna Shen within her ability, unless Li Yuan clearly said no. Time flies so fast and Sunday is here in the blink of an eye. Li Yuan received Yu Yu's message in the morning. After he replied, Yu Yu called. "Boss, Yao Yingsong said there is a company that processes lithium carbonate and asked if you want it. If you want it, he will be responsible for talking to him." Li Yuan just asked Yu Yu to prepare to search. He didn't want to get involved now. After all, the lithium carbonate market has not bottomed out yet. There are still more than 80,000 tons per ton now, and by next year there will be more than 60,000 per ton left. The year after next was even worse, with more than 40,000 per ton. Starting from the year after next, it will be a big market when it jumps to nearly 500,000 per ton. It's a little early now, but it will be about the same in 3 to 5 months. After all, the production capacity of this thing cannot be increased in a short time. Only by holding it in your hands for a year or 2 in advance, expanding production capacity, or hoarding raw materials can you maximize profits. April and May are suitable. He wants us to spend the money, right? That's what it means. Then spend it, but we are not in a hurry to take over the company now. Let him negotiate first and snatch the raw material suppliers of Oriental Lithium Energy from us. I won't do too much here. I want all the production capacity after June next year. Yu Yu. Does my boss really want to compete with Dongfang Lithium Energy? Dry. It's totally unnecessary. There is no overlap in the business of the two. The reason why he called to ask was because he felt that Li Yuan didn't really want to do this, maybe it was just an angry word. That company. Let's talk about the company after the year. Isn't it still early? Even if there is no suitable company by then, just find a warehouse to store the raw materials. He must snatch away the raw material suppliers of Oriental Lithium Energy. In this case, Oriental Lithium Energy can continue to develop raw materials abroad. If you don't take advantage of the low price to stock up on goods, how can you wait until the price rises? After lithium carbonate is processed, its shelf life is limited. Even if it is dry and ventilated, it will begin to oxidize after more than 1 year. There is no need to worry about the raw materials, they can be stored for 3 to 5 years without any problem. Okay, I'll tell him. Li Yuan suddenly thought of something and said, since he wants to spend money, leave all 16 billion to him. I don't ask for much, 10% of Ning's shares and 10% of Mindray Pharmaceuticals. Let him negotiate. Let's talk it down. The second phase will start soon. If Yao Yingsong can really do this, there is nothing wrong with starting the second phase in advance. If the liquidation is not completed before the year, the worst possible outcome will be a half-month holiday. Anyway, none of these things are easy to handle. Even if only one thing is done, he will consider it. There is no need for those that are already on the market. He can get them from the secondary market himself. Good. You know how to say it? I know, I know. It certainly can't be said that Li Yuan wanted it. Wouldn't that mean that Li Yuan was threatening a large national fund? There's still tomorrow, I'm going to Zhangzhou University, and you let me get beaten in school. You said with a smile, whatever the boss said, even if they want to be beaten, they should beat me. It has nothing to do with you. Okay, I will go to school as usual tomorrow. If you need anything, please contact me anytime. Li Yuan had to go to school, otherwise he would be blind. Anyway, as long as he is in school, it will definitely be someone else who suffers. But they must be able to bear it, after all, they are very shameless when inviting themselves. Anyway, when Li Yuan thinks he's sorry for someone, he doesn't have the shamelessness to take advantage of them. When Yuxian just got up. Even though it was Monday, she didn't want to go to school. She felt that the school was not interesting, and it was a bit different from what she had imagined. Then, she saw her father suddenly push open the door, frowning and said, "Come with me." "Where to go?" "Go find Li Yuan. He sent someone last night to dig up the raw material supplier of Dongfang Lithium Energy. They have a good relationship with me and revealed some information to me in advance. Before the matter gets out of hand, I will take you go apologize." "Ah? Why?" "If Li Yuan wants to fight, then we will accompany him to the end." "Why should I fight? What should I do if I lose?" "Will I marry you?" "Ang, it's not impossible. I think this is your main purpose, right? Are you trying to trick your own father?" You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. They posted it upside down, and I'm actually not satisfied with it. Author, Lao He. Chapter 203. When Yuxian definitely didn't have much confidence, but Li Yuan had given her such good preparations, so there was no reason to refuse. If you can't cross the river by touching Li Yuan, you must be touching the wrong place. Dad, if the supplier is poached, it will be poached. Let's look for it again. It's not as easy as you say. It only takes a few years to establish a new channel, and it won't be stable at all. Moreover, the industry is currently in a recession. If you let others expand production, you have to bear the risks. What a huge investment is this? Oriental Lithium Energy will not be able to make a profit in the next 3 years. Oh, just 3 years. Anyway, the company has a solid foundation, so we are not afraid of him. Are you stupid? Why do you have to fight to the death when you can be harmonious and make money? The most taboo thing in doing business is to find opponents everywhere. Li Yuan is a financial person. Why did he come to our industry to join in the fun? Wasn't it because he couldn't save face and said harsh words? I can't get off the stage. He is young and energetic, and I can't be young and energetic too. I can just go over and give him a way to get off. Wen Yuxian. If you want to go, you can go. Anyway, I'm not going. I'm going to read a book and do some research. Wen Yuxian has not yet obtained the professional qualification certificate. Dawn Capital was almost done, and she was going to change her name. After all, Shuguang is homophonic to losing light, which is an unlucky name. She didn't know at first, but Li Yuan reminded her. When she came back to her senses, her mind was buzzing. Li Yuan can kill everyone in the stock market. Could it be because of his name? Thinking about it, it seems like. Tianfu Capital failed to resist, but Shangyuan Capital withstood Li Yuan's impact. She originally thought of a more elegant name, but after being manipulated by Li Yuan, she felt that what she had thought of before was not very good. Incoming Capital? Lefa Capital? These names are becoming more and more pleasing to the eye. Hu Qingming came to Qingtian Capital early in the morning with Zhangzhou University's finances. Yu Yu took the two of them directly to the office. Hu Qingming felt something was wrong. Yu Yu came up and didn't even introduce them. Then he hurriedly took them to the office and closed the door. So, he said, Mr. Yu, we are here mainly for the things that Mr. Li promised before. Can it be convenient for us to connect our finances? Yu Yu immediately said awkwardly, no problem, of course no problem. But the company's finance department hasn't started work yet, so I'll ask you two to wait here for a while. Hu Qingming. It's past 9 o'clock, you said you didn't go to work? And it was obvious that something was wrong with Yu Yu, as if he was deliberately hiding something. Mr. Yu, can I take the liberty to ask, what is Mr. Li's annual salary? The finance manager of Zhangzhou University said something. He felt that Yu Yu felt that there was too much money and was a little reluctant to part with it. Yu Yu said generously, Mr. Li's annual salary is originally more than 27 million yuan. The finance director of Zhangzhou University was a little disappointed after hearing this. But it's normal to think about it. After all, Qingtian Capital has just been established. If Li Yuan takes too much salary, the basic citizens may not be willing to do so. But what does Yu Yu mean by this sentence? Mr. Yu, what do you mean by the original standard of more than 27 million? Hu Qingming also felt that there was something wrong with this sentence. Yu Yu said awkwardly, that's it? Mr. Li set an annual salary standard at the beginning, but I feel that since Qingtian Capital is solely owned by Mr. Li, there is no need to receive these salaries. After all, salary and personal tax are not related to dividends. The tax difference is huge, so when I finally entered the data, I gave Mr. Li a symbolic annual salary of $1. What does Mr. Yu mean by this? Yu Yu said, this matter is my dereliction of duty at work, so I called you two to come over and discuss with you how to solve this matter. Hu Qingming asked, is this difficult? Just calculate it according to the original annual salary. Anyway, they are all Li Yuan's predecessors. Of course it's difficult. Does Dean Hu think his salary can be changed at will? The company's system has been established long ago, and the financial system is running according to the rules. Even the financial personnel have no right to change those data. You can use other accounts without changing the data, right? Hu Qingming felt that Yu Yu was a bit evasive. Yu Yu smiled and said, of course you can, but that will make it very difficult to keep track of the company's accounts. Every money in the company has its own use, and only those who have entered the payroll system can be mobilized. Hu Qingming was stunned. Is there such a thing? Li Yuan is the boss of the company. He can't even touch the company's money. Yu, okay, but the boss promised 1 year's salary, and this money can only come out of the salary system? However, Qingtian Capital's salary system only costs more than 1 million in total. Mr. Yu, please speak more clearly. Yu took a deep breath and said, either I advance 1 year's salary to you as compensation, or I ask the finance department to give you a piece of it. The face of Zhangzhou University's finance officer changed, as did Hu Qingming. Isn't this just nonsense? I want to call Li Yuan. At this time, Yu's expression also changed. Said, if you dare to call Mr. Li and cause me to be scolded, then we will have a good talk. Is it possible that you still want to threaten us? Yu slapped the table and said, this is Qingtian Capital, not Zhangzhou University. Since the boss promised to give you a year's salary, we can also give it to you according to the process. But I know that you can't accept it, so that's why you are willing to do it for me, pay for the original mistake and compensate me for my salary. If you expose this matter, given my ability, I will not be able to support my wife, children. You will know what I will do if I am forced to do something. You can go out and ask around. Yu, was lucky enough to get into Qingtian Capital. No one else offered me a monthly salary of 20,000 yuan. My job at Qingtian Capital is my lifeblood. I will fight anyone who blocks my way to make money. Hu Qingming and the two were completely confused. What the hell is this? After working on it for a long time, you made a mistake, and you were still afraid of being scolded by your boss or fired, so you threatened them? It's just a small matter. It won't affect Mr. Yu's work, right? Yu said coldly, little things. What Mr. Li hates most is people who make their own decisions. How many employees in the company have been fired because of making their own decisions? Besides, the company has recently had another general manager. Mr. Li has already been looking for him. If someone replaces me, if something happens at this time, do you think I can still keep my job? Zhangzhou University didn't care about the financial affairs, so he took out his mobile phone and prepared to contact Li Yuan. Suddenly, Yu shouted loudly, you want to die, don't you? If you want to die, I will help you. This sound made Hu Qingming and finance tremble with fear. At this time, Yu looked like he was about to lose everything. The next second, Yu blocked the door and said through gritted teeth, make a phone call. If you have the ability, do it. If you dare to make this call, the three of us will not be able to walk out of the office door today. After all, I work in the education system. I have never seen a gangster like Yu. After making a phone call, what should I do if Yu really fights them? Although there were many of them, who could guarantee that Yu had no weapons on him? In their opinion, Yu has gone crazy. It was Hu Qingming who took the lead to calm down and said, Mr. Yu, don't get excited, we won't call you anymore. Yu said, then tell me whether you want my salary of more than 1 million yuan or 1 yuan, tell me immediately. I have prepared the contract for you. Do Hu Qingming and the others dare to ask for Yu's money? Besides, after taking more than 1 million yuan, there is still no way to deliver the goods when we go back. Anyway, they just need to leave here first and call Li Yuan later. Will Yu be expelled by then? What does it have to do with them? It matters now, because we have to guard against Yu going all out. They have never encountered such a battle in their lives. This Yu is not a person at all. Grass. One piece, one piece. Hu Qingming said, and the finance department didn't refute at this time. Let's leave this place of right and wrong first. Anyway, there is something Li Yuan personally agreed to, so the money can't escape and there's no need to take risks. After they get out, they will tell Li Yuan about this. If Li Yuan would not fire Yu before, he will definitely fire him now, and even call the police directly. Soon, Yu asked the other party to sign the contract, and then took them to the finance department to receive $1. He stared at the other person the whole time, and he didn't feel relieved until the $1 entered Zhangzhou University's account. Then, the two people hurriedly made excuses and left. But before he had gone far, Hu Qingming called Li Yuan in the company's garage. He doesn't know if he can get through, so if he can't get through, he'll find someone else. Fortunately, I got through today. Mr. Li. Dean Hu, just call me Li Yuan. Li Yuan's voice came from over there. Hu Qingming was really scared to death, and now his back was covered in cold sweat. Before he could speak, the finance manager next to him said, Li Yuan, is the general manager of your company crazy? He threatened us with death when he came up. We almost didn't come out of the office alive. Hu Qingming immediately glared at the finance department and said, Mr. Li, the person who just spoke was the school finance department. He was frightened and had no other intentions. After all, Li Yuan is a billionaire. Yu's matter obviously has nothing to do with him. If he yells at him or even questions him, isn't he asking for trouble? Li Yuan replied with a smile, it's okay, but why don't I understand? What's going on? Hu Qingming explained, it's like this. Yu from your company took it upon himself to change your salary to 1 yuan, and then he threatened us because he was afraid of your blaming. The finance person and I almost didn't come out of the office. Is this impossible? Mr. Yu is not such a person. Otherwise, I'll call and ask. Okay, then I'll trouble Mr. Li. Hu Qingming knew that as soon as Li Yuan opened his mouth, the matter would almost be settled. It would be nice to take more than 20 million back, but I don't dare to think about anything else for the time being. I almost risked my life. About 5 minutes later, Li Yuan's call came in. After Hu Qingming got through, he heard Li Yuan say, Dean Hu, I called Mr. Yu and asked. Mr. Yu said that my salary is not 1 yuan. He also said that you have already received my salary for a year. Mr. Li, Yu was afraid that you would fire him, so he was deliberately lying to you. As for the salary, he threatened to fight us hard, so we had no choice but to sign it. We only got 1 yuan in total. We have evidence here. Yeah, I understand. I'll call again and ask. When the finance officer saw the phone was hung up, he said coldly, that Yu is really crazy. Does he think he can get away with it this way? Hu Qingming sighed deeply. This was a typical mistake he made and he didn't dare to face it. How is it different from those people in school back then? Almost scared him to death. It should be over for Yu now. There is no doubt that Li Yuan already knows about this matter, and the evidence is enough to completely throw Yu into the abyss. What about the contract? The company belongs to Li Yuan, and Li Yuan has the final say in everything. It's best if it's over, but it's a pity that there was no way to preserve the evidence at the time, otherwise the police could have been arrested. Oh, it would be nice to get the money. Fortunately, Li Yuan is easier to talk to. Then Li Yuan must give us some compensation, right? For such a big boss, we were almost threatened to death. How about mental damage compensation? Hu Qingming. Well, in this world, everyone is crazy about money. The main reason is that Li Yuan has too much money, and they will never be able to contact another person with such wealth in their lifetime. It's understandable to be a bit whimsical. After another 2 minutes, Li Yuan called again. After the call was connected, Li Yuan said, Dean Hu, I'm still clear about this matter. Mr. Yu and you have different opinions. I'm in school now and can't go to the company. How about this? I went to the company and I told the boss sternly not to make any trouble in this matter, and he has agreed. Hu Qingming said hesitantly, "Mr. Li, why don't you come to the company?" Dean Hu, "Don't worry, I guarantee you will get the money this time. If you still can't get it, I will skip class and go back to the company to resolve the matter." "No, we really don't dare. Yu was so scary just now. If you don't come back, we won't even dare to enter the company gate." Li Yuan, who was outside the classroom, was really shocked when he heard this. "What on earth did Yu do? Can you scare people like this? Well then, I'll go back to the company now, but I'll be delayed for about half an hour on the way. Can Dean Hu wait there?" I can wait. Just half an hour is nothing." "That's it? I'll hang up now and call you when I get to the company." "Okay, thank you Mr. Li." On the way back to the company, Li Yuan was also thinking about what Yu did. He swore he didn't know. But the effect was very good, it completely took him out of the matter. Because I can't use misunderstanding as an excuse, but others can. They posted it upside down, and I'm actually not satisfied with it. Author, Lao He. Chapter 204. When Li Yuan came to the company, he called Hu Qingming. Then they were waiting for the two of them at the door of the company. The two of them were walking cautiously at first, but after seeing Li Yuan, their confidence suddenly increased a lot. Li Yuan said with a smile, "Dean Hu, are you okay?" Hu Qingming was a little embarrassed. It's okay, please Mr. Li. "You're welcome, come in with me first." The three of them entered the company together, and Li Yuan asked someone to call Yu out. Yu looked cautious after coming out, but when he saw Hu Qingming, his eyes were a little gloomy. But at this time, neither Hu Qingming nor Hu Qingming were afraid of him. Li Yuan came up and asked, "Mr. Yu, I heard that you reduced my salary to 1 yuan. "Boss, it's nothing." "Then go and pull out the data and show it to me." Hu Qingming and the others looked at Yu, waiting for this guy to make a fool of himself. It can be seen from Li Yuan's attitude that he absolutely must handle this matter, otherwise he would not be so direct. If it was Li Yuan who instructed him, then Li Yuan would definitely practice Tai Chi with Yu. How could he be so straightforward and rely on data? As expected, Yu became entangled and waited for a long time without any movement. "Go quickly, what are you doing standing around? The mobile phone number bound to my salary card is of no use. If you dare to lie to me about this, pack your things and get out immediately." Yu lowered his head. When he raised his head again, his eyes were already red. "Boss, I did change your salary to 1 yuan, mainly because I think it can reduce taxes. And you consider Zhangzhou University as your alma mater, but when did Zhangzhou University regard you as their student? I have never protected you at any time or anywhere. I know you are rich and you come here smelling like a dog." "Yu. What are you talking about?" Yu raised his voice and said, "Where am I talking nonsense? The school teacher framed you, the college leaders punished you indiscriminately, the school leaders are a group of accomplices, and never stand up to give you justice at any time. How can these be false? Ask the two people around you if they dare to recognize you." Yu's questioning made Hu Qingming and the finance department of Zhangzhou University blush. Neither the school nor Li Yuan tried to uncover this scar. At this time, it was revealed by Yu. They saw Li Yuan's face was gloomy, and they didn't know whether he was angry because of Yu's incident, or because he was angry because he thought of his previous experience in school. In short, this incident awakened Li Yuan's memory. "I'm afraid it will be difficult for the school to invite Li Yuan to do anything in the future." Li Yuan said coldly, "Hurry up and get 27 million from the company's finance to Zhangzhou University. I don't have a salary account, so I'll get it from somewhere else." Yu said bravely, "No, there is no money elsewhere." "What's the meaning? I'm already moving forward with the things you arranged last Friday." All the company's money has been put into the custody account and cannot be withdrawn at the moment. Li Yuan immediately cursed, "What the hell are you talking about? How can a multi-billion project be advanced so fast?" Yu said, "I knew you would definitely go to Zhangzhou University, so I made arrangements in advance. Just now. Take me to see it." Hu Qingming and the others could only follow Li Yuan. But they couldn't see the data and could only wait for Li Yuan. Soon, Li Yuan became furious and said, "Then take out all the money in the salary account. I remember that the salary account now has 3 months' salary in it, at least more than 10 million, take it out first." Hu Qingming could feel that Li Yuan was already doing his best to fulfill the money he promised. But Yu quickly said, "Boss, there is no money in the salary account. I just asked the finance department to pay all the 2-month salary and 1 month's bonus in advance." Yu. "Who gave you the courage? Asshole." Li Yuan slapped the table and went to the office angrily. When passing by Hu Qingming wanted to say something else, but Li Yuan didn't even look at it. At this time, Li Yuan's anger was completely burning. At this time, Yu also came over. He said with a stern face, "You think I can't deal with you? The company has already done what the boss promised you. $1 has also been put into your account. I will tell the boss what your school has done every day. Because, anyway, the boss won't be able to operate funds within 3 months. Guess, after 3 months, will the boss be willing to compensate you additionally?" The finance officer glared at Yu and said, "Yu, just wait to be fired." "Haha, I got fired, do you think it's a good thing? From now on, you have to keep your eyes open when you sleep. I advise you to pray that I don't get fired. You don't want to take more than 1 million, and now you deserve it. Aren't you afraid that I will sue you? Ha ha ha, our boss started receiving a salary of $1 a few months ago, and the contract has been fulfilled. What are you going to sue for?" In this wave, Yu can be said to have filled up all the hatred. He welcomed Zhangzhou University to Su Qingtian capital, and Li Yuan was probably looking forward to seeing this scene. The bigger the fuss about this, the better. He just needs to absorb hatred like crazy and leave enough space for Li Yuan to operate at any time in the future. When Hu Qingming heard that the finance department wanted to sue Li Yuan, he quickly stopped him and said, "Don't talk nonsense. Come with me to see Mr. Li first." The finance manager followed reluctantly. In Li Yuan's office, I saw Li Yuan with a gloomy face. Li Yuan forced a smile and said, "Dean Hu, I'm telling you a joke." Whatever Mr. Li said, in fact, the school did not do its job well, and we admit this. Li Yuan waved his hand, "Forget about the past. Let's wait for the money for now. When a few projects over there are implemented, the funds will be returned to the company. I will definitely make up for the shortfall by then. Already. It's 11 o'clock, may I invite you two to have a meal?" No, we have to go back. We have caused trouble to Mr. Li today. No, it's because I didn't make good arrangements here. I'm too young and it's my first time to open a company. Li Yuan had already said this, what else could Hu Qingming and the others say? We cooperated throughout the entire process and tried our best. However, Yu was determined to discuss them, so he could only wait for a while. Li Yuan personally put them in the car and then returned to his office. After returning to the office, he couldn't help laughing when he recalled Yu's operations. If Yu is really cruel, give him $1. Originally, he thought Yu would find an excuse to give him 100,000 or 200,000. It's also his fault that Hu Qingming and the others were greedy, otherwise he would have been able to make up for Yu's loss if they took more than 1 million away. Yu not only attracted hatred for himself, but also helped him scold Zhangzhou University. All the work was done. He didn't have to do anything, and he didn't have to make excuses. Just cooperate and get angry. After all, he still wants to stay in school. When he personally stands up to tear Zhangzhou University apart, he will not stay there any longer. As for the equipment of that battalion, wait until they want it. If Zhangzhou University does not cause trouble after this incident, then he will not stand up in the future, leaving them with dignity. After all, he is not a grudge-bearing person, and the whole world knows this. After having a meal at the company, he returned to his dormitory and started his Bitcoin business. It's easier in the dormitory, after all, there are two people who can bring food. At the same time, I can go shopping on campus if I have nothing to do, and there will always be some gossip. After all, the news that Qingtian Capital donated 100 million to Zhangzhou University of Science and Technology has officially begun today. Chen Qi, since Li Yuan showed him a photo that day, his whole person has changed. His originally lively personality became sullen. I didn't even want to leave the dormitory for the past 2 days, and I just started going to class today. After I came back, I basically didn't say anything, didn't look at my phone, and stayed motionless after lying down. Ma Chenkai came back a little late, and when he came back he said, "There will be a party in class next time, will you two go?" Chen Qi did not reply. Li Yuan said, "Let's go, what time? Are you really going? Can this be false? I have only been young for a few years, and I will only get busier and busier in the future. Even before graduation, things will start to change. There doesn't have to be any benefit to go." And he has gone long on all Bitcoin contracts today, using the money he earned. In the past few days, I have earned $300 million. 10 times leverage, the contract has just been opened. Even if there is a total loss, it will not affect the $300 million principal left by Chenji. He packed up the USB flash drive and got out of bed. After simply washing his face and preparing to go out with Ma Chenkai, Chen Qi suddenly spoke. "Lao Li, can you give me a way to make money? I want money." Ma Chenkai was stunned. Li Yuan smiled and said, "Then go and wash up quickly, and then let's have a meal together with our classmates." "Good." He rolled out of bed and immediately went to the bathroom. Li Yuan looked at Ma Chenkai and said, "Old Ma, why don't you speak?" Ma Chenkai said, "It's not necessary now. When I can no longer survive, you can just find me a job as the foreman of a bathing center." You are really promising." After a while, Chen Qi wiped his face and walked over and asked, "Lao Li, what kind of work can I do? I don't need you to take care of me. I just need to introduce you. So why are you so anxious? I haven't asked you yet how much money you want to earn. Is it millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions or billions?" This time, Chen Qi was stopped. Except for the number of millions, he never thought about anything else. Could he be worth tens of millions in his lifetime? Impossible. I just want to think that with my current ability, it doesn't matter even if I work hard, how much can I earn? That's what I said. You don't think I want to give it to you for free, do you? Can I make billions? Li Yuan nodded, "The risk is very high." Chen Qi immediately said, "I'm not afraid of risks, I want money." He recalled what Gu Dongsheng said in May. In the past, he felt that what Gu Dongsheng said was completely wrong. Why don't you resort to any means for money? You will do nothing in this life and just want to make money. Isn't it against the rules for a freshman to say something like this? But now, he has become one of them. Li Yuan said, "I want to go abroad." "No problem. I can't provide you with strong security, especially for the first half of a year or a year, you have to rely on yourself. All I can provide is the principle. Anyway, I can't control you if you die outside. Going or not?" Chen Qi hesitated. Think about it." "Well, don't worry, I'll make a decision after the year. Li Yuan didn't pay much attention. Since Chen Qi has considered it, it means that he is serious. If you don't even think about it, it means it's just an impulsive idea. Even if you go for it, you won't be able to do it for a long time. Anyway, those jobs are very profitable, but it's not easy to make money. He can sit back and enjoy the harvest, and it's worth it for others to bear the risk. The worst thing you can do is lose some of your principal. If you do it well, you can earn 100 times your principal. The three of them quickly walked outside the school. Ma Chenkai probably also knows that he will be the only one left in the dormitory next year. Lao Li, come back and see me next year if you have nothing to do. Oh, okay. Ma Chenkai asked him to go back. The roommate relationship was definitely not important. The main thing was that he and Gu Dongshen were not back together too much, which affected this guy's pursuit of girls. After all, those girls most likely got together with Ma Chenkai because they wanted to get close to him or Gu Dongshen. Basically, if you stay for a while and find that it is unprofitable, you will run away. As soon as the three of them left the school gate, Li Yuan saw a familiar figure. Song Jiajia. She drove a girl back to Zhangzhou University. The girl had just gotten off the car and was saying goodbye to Song Jiajia. After the girl left, Li Yuan approached her. "Senior, what a coincidence." Song Jiajia was also a little surprised when she saw Li Yuan and the others. She had been wanting to find Li Yuan recently, but Li Yuan was not available. "Yes, I tried so hard to send you a message but you couldn't find it, but I met a classmate when I was sending him home. Come on, let me treat you to dinner." Song Jiajia always felt that she owed Li Yuan a lot of favor. The survival of Song's shares depends entirely on Li Yuan's actions. Judging from the current situation, it has established a firm foothold in the A-share market. With enough attention, a lot of funds are willing to come in. The market value has also returned to normal, around 12 billion. Not yet, I have to go to my class reunion. After Song Jiajia heard this, a look of anticipation appeared on her face. "It means, take me with you." But Li Yuan immediately said, "It's not appropriate to bring my senior sister to my classmates' gathering here. How about, wait until I finish eating and then look for my senior sister?" Song Jiajia. "Then when will you finish eating?" "About 10 o'clock. It's almost 7 o'clock now, and I guess it's 8 o'clock when I actually start eating. 2 hours is not too much to eat, right? Then do you drink?" "I should know how to drink. After all, we are all classmates." "Don't drink alcohol. Drinking is too scary." "What if Li Yuan sobers up and refuses to admit his guilt?" "What? I wrote a wrong number in the previous chapter, it should be $1. They posted it upside down, and I'm actually not satisfied with it." Author, Lao He. Chapter 205. Song Jiajia felt that Li Yuan's question was a bit strange. Didn't she just finish speaking? Why is Li Yuan's answer so weird? And Li Yuan's two roommates seemed a bit. Her character, who doesn't change her expression even if she accidentally enters a men's bathhouse, is embarrassed. "Where are you eating?" Song Jiajia asked to ease the embarrassment of the inexplicable appearance. "Wang Xianglu, senior sister, are you going to pick me up at the door later? Can I drink less?" "Huh? No, you can drink whatever you want. I'll go back first and see what happens later. It's a rare opportunity to meet Li Yuan." "You really don't need me to drink less?" "You will be more tired if I'm drunk," Li Yuan asked. "After all, if you go to wash your feet, everyone knows that you can't do it if you're drunk." Song Jiajia said inexplicably, "You can drink as long as you want, don't worry about me, just go quickly." After saying that, she got in the car directly. Li Yuan is a little weird. She also stayed at Zhangzhou University for 4 years, so she naturally knew where Wangxiang Tower was. Wait until Li Yuan is done eating before going over to take a look. If it doesn't suit him, look for another opportunity. When Li Yuan saw Song Jiajia leaving, his interest suddenly dropped a lot. Chen Qi became a little more interested and said to Ma Chenkai, "Do you see, this is a girl, what are the ones you were looking for before? I don't think Lao Li is much more handsome than me, but there are so many girls who are not. So, men don't need anything, but they can't have money. Li Yuan. As long as I live a sober life, I can still have girls even if I have no money." Does Chen Qi have any misunderstanding about his appearance? After all, Gu Dongsheng is somewhat related to Shui Bai. Do you, Chen Qi, have anything to do with Shui? You only have one of the two words. Stop complaining like that. Make money first. Chen Qi came over and said, "Then tell me why you want me to go abroad. What are you doing? Of course you are robbing mines. Gold mines, iron mines, copper mines, lithium mines, nickel mines, as long as they are mines, I want them all. The era of skyrocketing raw materials is coming soon. And if you grab it, you'll earn it." How to rob? Take the money to find the locals, drive away the outsiders, and leave the mines to you. Those outsiders will collect their mines at unimaginably low prices. We are giving them a fair deal, do you understand? Li Yuan didn't tell lies. This is true in many places, especially in Africa. When developed countries buy their ores, it is basically the same as giving them away for free. For example, Gallic chicken costs only 0.8 euros per kilogram when buying uranium from other countries, while the international market price is $200. It's just a price difference of more than 200 times. Of course, this example is quite extreme, and other mines are not so outrageous. It is normal to have a price difference of more than 10 times compared to the international market. Li Yuan doesn't want much, just give him some scraps, so the overall conflict is not big. But Chen Qi is still worried about his life. Anyway, Chen Qi has a younger brother at home. If something happens to him, he can just find an excuse to compensate his family. He had no other way to make money for Chen Qi, and even if he gave it to him, he wouldn't be able to control it. What are my chances of surviving? It depends on you. If you can control it, the probability is 90%. If you can't control it, the probability is 0. He did not doubt Chen Qi's intelligence. As long as he was ruthless enough, his chances of survival were quite high. As long as he can get it, he can transport it back. Ma Chenkai, who was behind, didn't follow. When he felt that the two of them had almost finished talking, he came over and hurried towards the place to eat together. Many people in Class 1 didn't know that Li Yuan would also come, so when Li Yuan appeared in the box, everyone was stunned for a long time. One pair of eyes in particular has never left since Li Yuan entered the door. I told you you were coming, so we went directly to Qinji. Anyway, we're not afraid that a rich man like you won't be able to pay. A boy stood up and said something. Li Yuan smiled and said, "How about we change places now? That's so troublesome. We still have classes tomorrow. How about you wait until you are on Forbes? Can you please go to Qinji to have a meal together?" "Okay, no problem, we'll be ready for the holidays. Winter vacation." Everyone. We don't do this. I just said it casually. Are you really going to be on Forbes? What's so difficult about that thing? If you can't make it to the domestic rankings, isn't there a youth ranking? The top 50 in the youth rankings only need 500 million. In fact, Li Yuan is already qualified to be on the overall list. After all, with a net worth of 20 billion, he can barely rank among the top 100. 500 million? This is the first time in my life that I have seen a sum larger than the hair on my head. How can you earn it so easily? Chen Qi said at this time, Lao Gao, are you overestimating your hair volume? Can't we add another place? You are awesome. Many girls in the class reacted. Lao Gao said awkwardly, I'm talking about the armpits, the armpits. The result is that the more you explain, the darker it becomes. There are a total of 24 people in the class, 17 boys and 7 girls. They are also commonly known as the 7 fairies. In fact, they all have good looks, especially Cao Yuan, who is ranked high in the entire academy. In fact, there are more female students in the School of Finance overall. But the vast majority of girls are in the economic management and accounting directions, which are different from their finance directions. The accounting class is densely populated by women, which is comparable to that of a normal school. The private room soon became lively. Li Yuan never stopped talking to anyone, whether it was a boy or a girl, they would always find an opportunity to say a few words. There are a lot of flatteries, but they are all normal. After all, who doesn't have a little pride in their heart? Even Li Yuan's current results, in their opinion, are just helping to point out the direction, kneeling and licking, etc., there is still a lot to be done. This age is the most self-centered age. You can talk about anything and don't take anyone seriously. Li Yuan would never have the chance to hear many words after they left this place. So, he was persuaded to drink a lot. He usually doesn't drink much, but today he drank almost 8 taels. By the end of the drink, he started banging his chopsticks. The main thing is that he doesn't know much about punching, and neither does anyone else. Suddenly, a drink appeared in front of him, and then a voice came, Li Yuan, drink some juice, sober up. Li Yuan turned around and saw Cao Yuan. Before he opened his mouth, someone started shouting, Master Class Beauty, your fiancé is going to be jealous. This sentence is so heart-wrenching. Because no one in the class knew that Cao Yuan had a fiancé who was studying abroad. These words were said by Cao Yuan herself. Throughout the college, many boys confessed their love to Cao Yuan, and all they got was this reply. The person who just spoke was obviously drunk, and because his previous confession was rejected, he couldn't hold it back for a while. Cao Yuan's face froze, but she quickly returned to normal and said, we are all classmates, so it doesn't matter. I originally planned to start from Li Yuan's side and pour some for you one by one. Li Yuan took the juice and said, then I'd like to thank the class beauty first. For a group that can fight for every class committee candidate, it is normal for this kind of thing to happen. As the saying goes, love breeds hate. After Cao Yuan brought juice to most people, Li Yuan had already paid the bill. It didn't cost much in total, more than 3,000 yuan. After he came back feeling dizzy, he said, I drank a little too much, so I'm going to leave first. Someone said, why don't you stay a little longer? There will be no class in the first period tomorrow morning. Let's go back together later. Li Yuan said, you don't have classes, but I do. I have to retake all my freshman courses, plus night self-study, and there will be 5 classes tomorrow. We will meet again during the winter vacation. I will keep my word. Goodbye. After Li Yuan finished speaking, he waved and left. Neither Chen Qi nor Ma Chenkai followed because they knew Song Jiajia was outside. After coming out, Li Yuan was sobered by the cold wind. In fact, this dinner party was essentially meaningless to him. But I am very happy and much more comfortable than the workplace. Just like Yu, he must also know that Yu has been flattering, but he needs such a person. If classmates like myself enter the workplace, there is a title specially prepared for them. Thorny head. When toasting, it is wrong to hold the wine glass lower than the leader. Do you dare to make fun of the leader? The boys mentioned Tong Sui Fi at least 5 or 6 times today, and everyone in the dormitory made a tacit agreement not to mention it. Just as he was looking around to see if anyone would pick him up, a voice suddenly came from next to him again. Li Yuan, are you okay? Hearing the voice, Li Yuan knew who it was. It's okay. Why did the class beauty come out? Didn't you chat with the classmates again? Cao Yuan said in a low mood, no, I feel like they won't be happy chatting with me there. It's nothing. I just drank a little too much today. I don't mean any harm. Yes, I know. Cao Yuan seemed hesitant to speak, and then spoke again. Li Yuan, do you have any friends on the island country? If it were anyone else, Li Yuan would definitely have it. He knows many teachers. But he really didn't dare to say this in front of Cao Yuan, because they were not familiar with each other. No, what's wrong? My fiancé seems to be looking for a girlfriend over there. Li Yuan. Who knows whether your fiancé is real or fake? Anyway, in Li Yuan's view, her so-called fiancé was just an excuse. I didn't talk to Cao Yuan very much in my previous life, and even lost all contact with her after graduation. Maybe it's a misunderstanding. Li Yuan really hoped that Song Jiajia would come over quickly and take him away. Damn the atmosphere. Your fiancé cheated on you, and you have nothing to do with me. Cao Yuan's eyes began to turn red uncontrollably, and she said aggrievedly, I have offended so many people because of him. No matter who confesses to me, I will clearly tell them that I have a fiancé. Why can't he do it? As he spoke, he cried. Well, Cao Yuan in this state is indeed very lethal. No boy would be able to comfort her after seeing this scene. Cao Yuan herself is the thin type, but her body curves are very good, and the areas where she should be fat are also of a certain size. Anyway, now that goddesses are on the streets, she is definitely worthy of the title of goddess. It's just that Li Yuan has no interest in green tea. I don't have anyone in the island country around me. I thought you had connections there, so I wanted you to check it out for me. I didn't expect that even a glass of juice could cause misunderstandings among my classmates. I'm sorry to cause you trouble. It's okay, it's nothing. Then, let me take you back to the dormitory. You have to cross the street later, so I will help you. Cao Yuan stretched out her hand. Li Yuan waved his hand and said, no, my girlfriend is here to pick me up. After saying that, he waved his hand not far away and shouted, hey, it's over here. When Song Jiajia looked this way, Li Yuan said to Cao Yuan, Master Banhua, please be careful on the way back. I will leave first. Bye. After that, he trotted towards Song Jiajia. Song Jiajia was still wondering, why could Li Yuan be so impatient like this? What does he want to do? Before she could react, Li Yuan had already arrived in front of her and grabbed her hand. Song Jiajia. Struggle. Can't break free. Li Yuan, what do you want to do? Think. What are you thinking about? Senior, it's too late to explain, I was almost taken advantage of by another woman. But I was also taken advantage of, although not much. Who? Who dares to take advantage of senior's sister? Call the police and arrest him. As soon as Li Yuan finished speaking, he realized that the person seemed to be him. Senior's sister, I don't call this taking advantage, I call it emergency evacuation. What's wrong? Who wants to eat you? Well, I feel pretty much the same. Tell me and I'll listen. Song Jiajia didn't believe it at all. She felt that Li Yuan just drank too much. Li Yuan said, there was a female classmate who cried in front of me for no reason, saying that her boyfriend had cheated on her, and asked me if I could give her a hug. Li Yuan must have made up a little plot, otherwise he would appear to be narcissistic. They just talked about their experiences and didn't really do anything. When Song Jia heard this, she said, "Don't you have a girlfriend?" "Yes, but since I didn't come today, I just wanted to ask my senior sister to help me. She doesn't know my girlfriend anyway." Song Jia thought for a moment and said, "Then you can't do this, it's a bit different." "How does that look like?" After Li Yuan finished speaking, Song Jia directly hugged his neck and leaned against her. Originally, the two of them were about the same height, but Li Yuan tilted his head like this and naturally became half shorter. Then because I drank some wine, my legs were not very stable and were a little bent. In an instant, he turned into a masked man. "How's it going?" "It feels better now, right?" Song Jia asked. Li Yuan moved a little bit, found a breathing hole for himself, and said in a loud voice, "Senior sister, your boyfriend shouldn't be jealous, right?" "I'm so jealous. My boyfriend doesn't know where he goes to kindergarten." "Oh, all right. How do you feel? Can you make your female classmate give up her thoughts?" Are you generous, sister?" "Well, it's really big. This chapter still counts as a monthly ticket plus updates. There is still one chapter left. I will finish it with a monthly ticket and add updates. Then I will start giving rewards and more updates. Among them, Xin Yiwen gave a reward of 10 yuan, and High Mountain number 1 Tyrant gave a reward of 20 yuan. I have added 3 more chapters. I remember them all. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. They posted it upside down, and I'm actually not satisfied with it. Author, Lao He. Chapter 206. Li Yuan and Song Jia are relatively familiar with each other. After getting into Song Jia's car, Li Yuan saw a bag placed on the passenger seat. He could tell from the logo on the bag that it was a watch. He lifted the bag and put it aside, then sat on it. Then, I discovered it was a men's watch. Song Jia got on the car at this time, and he asked, "Senior, is this watch given to me? Then I will be disrespectful and give it a try first." As he spoke, he put his hand into the bag. As soon as Song Jia said no, he would stop immediately. "Well, it's for you. I just said it casually. It's really for you." Li Yuan lost interest and said, "Senior, how about we discuss it?" "What?" "Next time you give me 10 gold bars." "Ah." Song Jia was confused. "Is there anyone else who wants a gift? Why do you need gold bars?" Li Yuan said unhurriedly, 10 gold bars means 10 gold bars. As long as you give me 10 gold bars, I will not be ambiguous with other girls." "What does your being ambiguous with others have to do with me?" "Hey, you just called me away from your female classmates. I thought you liked me. Didn't you call me just now?" "Oh, I was so drunk that I can't remember what happened just now." Song Jia had nothing to say. There is something romantic about giving gifts. But why is the painting style so weird? You don't want it, right? Then I'll take it back and give it to my dad. Yeah, give it away, it's too troublesome to wear a watch, you have to worry about it every day, and your wrists are tired. He really has no use for it. When working, you need to operate frequently, and wearing something on your wrist will only make you tired. It's not like he gives orders and then quietly waits for other people's work, and he doesn't have any free time to take care of it. You have to take it off when taking a shower. Most of the time, he just wants to take a shower and go to bed, and doesn't want to waste any extra energy." Song Jia was a little disappointed. She had been preparing this gift for a long time. She specially asked for money from her family and then ordered it specially. After all, she doesn't have a wealthy second-generation circle around her, and she rarely buys luxury goods. She won't be able to find the channels for a while, so she can only go to offline stores to order. It is said online that boys like watches. Then where are you going? To take you home or to school? Let's go home. We can't let senior sister go all the way in vain. Run as far away as possible. It's only 300 meters away from the school. Li Yuan finally got into the car and was too lazy to get out and walk. Song Jiajia's car did not have a pass, so she could only get off at the school gate. Then, you have to walk for 10 or 20 minutes to get to the dormitory. All he wanted to do now was lie down and find a bed as quickly as possible. Fortunately it wasn't beer, otherwise I would have to find a restroom. Where is your home? Tianjing. No one. What a coincidence. What's wrong? It's okay, it's okay. What building number are you coming to? First building. Song Jiajia's doubts were explained. She and Li Yuan were not in the same building. Her gift for getting admitted to Zhangzhou University was a large flat in Zhangzhou, but she never lived there. That is to say, I recently decided that I wanted to continue working in Jushin Media, so I bought some things and moved in. The distance between the two buildings is relatively far, and the garages are not in the same location, so it is normal not to encounter them. 10 minutes later, the car entered the community. Li Yuan was about to swipe the access card, but unexpectedly found that Song Jiajia's car was already registered here. Senior sister, don't tell me, you also live in this community. How did you know? Nonsense, the cars outside can't get in. Song Jiajia. I see you're about to fall asleep. How can you still notice these details? Only by paying attention to details can you control your destiny. Li Yuan didn't dare to really fall asleep. After all, he had a good relationship with Song Jiajia, and their trust was on another level. The one who really doesn't need to be on guard at the moment is Zhang Yuling. Even Zhou Ranran will not have any reservations. Mainly because Zhang Yuling is special, she doesn't care much about what's on her body. Zhou Ranran has no plans now, but who knows whether her personality will suddenly change in the future, whether she will be unable to withstand the pressure of having children and jump directly to the counterattack. After all, no one around him is normal, they are all hugely flawed. Zhang Yuling's shortcomings don't need to be made up for by oneself, and the safety is much higher. The other two have character flaws that require their own action at any time, and there are many uncontrollable factors. He actually really thought about whether Song Jiajia would make secret glances today, but the result once again proved that he was overthinking. He is far from a normal girl unless he is willing to settle down and live a good life. Feelings are something you have to gamble on. Bet on the other person's sincere dedication. Since it is something to bet on, you can never be 100% sure. He will never gamble on feelings again in this life. So he won't choose this path. Although there are currently 3 lines open, as long as you don't get married, there will be a solution for anything that happens. The car slowly entered the garage, and Li Yuan said, "Senior, do you want to get in and take a seat?" Song Jiajia glanced at Li Yuan and asked, "You should be able to do it yourself, right?" "But, I don't like doing it myself." "Huh, okay, I'll go up with you for a while." Song Jiajia stopped the car, and at the same time Li Yuan opened the door and stepped out. Seeing that the bag was still in the car, she asked, "You really don't want this gift?" "I just want to express my gratitude to you." Li Yuan smiled and said, "Sister, buying Song's shares is the company's investment decision and has nothing to do with personal feelings. Besides, we haven't given gifts yet. You can take it back and give it to your dad. It would be a good gift to anyone. Has anyone ever told you that you're weird? This guy really doesn't look like a normal person. Even if he doesn't like it, why wouldn't he take it as a free gift? Do you want to give it to your dad? What kind of brain circuit is this?" Someone said something else. "What?" Just like when you asked me before. Which sentence? When you pressed my head on your chest. Hey. Don't talk nonsense, I put it on my shoulder. Song Jiajia found that if she said anything to Li Yuan, as long as she understood it in a wrong direction, she would never wrong this guy. I sent Li Yuan back to his room, got him some hot water, cut some fruit, and turned on the floor heating for him before leaving. Li Yuan's room was filled with smells that didn't belong to him, which was too sensitive for Song Jiajia. And many of the flavors are conflicting, and they don't seem to come from the same person. There was something missing in my heart. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have come. Many things are better not to know than to know. Once you know too much, the filter disappears. It turns out that the goddess also likes to pick her feet on the bed. This feeling of dissonance came immediately. After the car was taken out of the garage, half of the neighborhood was spared before arriving at the garage of the house. As soon as she parked the car, she received a video call from her father. "Dad, it's so late, why are you making a video call?" Song Dalong stared at the screen carefully and asked, "Are you in the car?" "Yes, where else could it be?" "Going home." "Yeah, what on earth do you want to say?" Song Jiajia felt baffled. "You turn the camera around and I'll see if there's anyone next to you." "Ah. Dad, why are you so weird today? What's wrong? Is it wrong for a father to care about you?" Song Dalong would not say that he discovered through the reform movement that Song Jiajia had walked a long distance after 10 o'clock, which was not the case in normal times. In other words, Song Jiajia might be dating her junior classmate. Song Dalong has been living a wonderful life recently. He asked about Li Yuan specifically and found out that Li Yuan's family is in the next county. He was still thinking about visiting Li Yuan during the Chinese New Year and taking Song Jiajia with him. It doesn't have to be anything. At least it can allow young people to communicate. What if it happens? Isn't Li Yuan 100 times better than Song Jiajia's so-called junior? That's right, but even if there are people, you can't control them, right? As Song Jiajia spoke, she picked up her phone and took pictures of the surroundings. Song Dalong felt relieved and said with a smile, "Aren't you afraid that my precious daughter will be abducted?" "How did you know I was still out there?" Guess. Is this a WeChat exercise? No wonder you had to let me go last time, and you even said you would compete with me every day to see who could take more steps. That's what I mean, let you supervise my exercise. After all, you know my body will be destroyed if I don't exercise. Oh, I'm going to get on the elevator. Wait a minute, I just saw a bag in the car. What's in it?" Song Jiajia reluctantly took the bag over and said, "A men's watch, originally planned to be given to my junior." "What a gift. Last time you came to me and took hundreds of thousands, just to buy things for him. Neither your father nor I have ever worn such a good watch. Take it back and give it to me." Song Jiajia. Why does she feel that her father is just like Li Yuan, so weird? "Oh, okay. Originally, my junior fellow student didn't want it and asked me to give it to you. How come you two have such the same idea?" "Who has the same idea as him?" "But that kid can refuse a watch worth hundreds of thousands, so there is something. Either he is a good person, if so, Song Dalong still appreciates him very much. Of course, it could also be a bigger plot. Does he know your identity?" "I know. Maybe it's because I want your money, and I'm going to take a long-term approach to catch big fish." Song Jiajia rolled her eyes and said, "Your daughter is so worthless, right? Besides, that junior fellow student and I are just friends, so don't stop with conspiracy theories. It's getting late, go to bed quickly, we'll get up tomorrow, remember to exercise." After saying that, she hung up the phone. Song Dalong was relieved a lot. As long as they are ordinary friends will not affect you. He is going to let Song Jiajia see what young talents are. There are only a few days until the Chinese New Year. What if Li Yuan really resonates with his daughter? Even if that junior is a rich second generation, there is no one like Li Yuan who is a rich first generation person. Most of the rich second generation are not very capable. For example, Song Jiajia herself. I have been sensible and obedient since I was a child. I have never been extravagant or wasteful, my personality is not showy, I have not learned anything, and the rest is even worse. In this way, Song Dalong soaked his feet and slept peacefully. In my dream, I was thinking about Song Jiajia and Li Yuan giving birth to a big fat boy together and calling him Grandpa. Tuesday. Yu received the tax personnel inside the company. However, the conversation between the two parties was not pleasant. The reason was that the tax department kept asking about the next arrangements of Qingtian Capital, but Yu always refused to answer directly. Both parties know what each other means, and the tax side does not want Qingtian Capital to make any next moves, so they can file their taxes with peace of mind. Yu didn't want to say too much and let others tell the truth. It's just that it's not clear yet, and no one knows where the company will use the money next. The tax department didn't dare to push too hard. When they found that they couldn't get any definite information, they had no choice but to leave. Yu sent the other party away with a smile, and his face turned gloomy when he returned to the office. No one wants to be remembered by others. Now those people smell it. After all, the tax is 3.8 billion. In the entire Zhangzhou, except for the Tobacco Bureau, no company can pay so much tax. Although the Tobacco Bureau's taxes are high, they do not fall on Jiangzhou's finances, so they do not count. The top 20 companies that have paid taxes over the years, taken together, do not even have 3.8 billion. A Qingtian Capital can bring Jiangzhou's tax revenue to a higher level. Who doesn't care about this money? He reported this matter to Li Yuan. Li Yuan didn't even reply. Either Li Yuan was busy and didn't see it, or just don't care, it doesn't matter. He will definitely not make a phone call. If the boss is busy, a phone call will arouse the boss's resentment. But he still called Yao Yingsong. Whether this matter will be resolved amicably or violently, it all depends on Yao Yingsong. Manager Yao, are you in Zhangzhou? Yao Yingsong said, no, it's in Ningde. Oh? Are you moving so fast? Yao Yingsong said, I came yesterday, but my actions were almost useless. After the initial contact, my company was not short of money, and it was already preparing to submit an IPO. I could get money from the market. The boss gave me a difficult problem. I'm afraid I won't have a chance to finish it. Hearing this, Yu said with a smile, Manager Yao, someone from the tax department is here today, and the boss's attitude is still the same as before. Well, then I know what to do. It's not that Yao Yingsong can't do it, but there are some things that he can't do easily. Yu also heard the meaning of his words. Yao Yingsong said that he was not short of money, but he did not say that he was not short of anything else. And his reply implies that Yao Yingsong can just go ahead and do it, as long as it can be done, the boss will not mind what means are used or what conditions are promised. No matter how great the condition is, can it be more serious than losing 3.8 billion in taxes? For such a large company, even if the price premium is high, it won't be much. As long as Yao Yingsong is not stupid, there is a high probability that he will not negotiate a premium. At this time, Yao Yingsong hung up the phone and contacted Ningde Co., Ltd. After agreeing on a time, he took a taxi and rushed there. They posted it upside down, and I'm actually not satisfied with it. Author, Lao He. Chapter 207. Yao Yingsong talked with Ningde Co., Limited for half an hour, and he had already made his identity clear. However, the other party's attitude is still very consistent, that is, there is no shortage of money. And if they want it, there is plenty of money willing to come in. Moreover, they are preparing to raise more than 5 billion in IPO. Feeling that the heat was almost over, Yao Yingsong officially started talking about other topics. Mr. Zheng, Ningco Limited is a good company, but it is not omnipotent. As far as I know, the price of lithium carbonate has fallen recently, and several of your company's suppliers have encountered some problems in the economic chain. These risks, you should also take it into consideration. The other party said, why should we consider the risks of other companies? If something happens to them, we will just find another company. Isn't it difficult to control the quality control in the early stage? And the most important point is that it is a buyer's market now, but once the situation changes, it becomes a seller's market. To put it bluntly, the current market conditions for various types of lithium carbonate are not good. Ningco Limited can change suppliers at will, and they dominate everything. But this does not mean that Ningco Limited has no competitors at all. Once the market changes, there is still a possibility of problems. The other party did not speak, but Yao Yingsong continued, it just so happens that Qingtian Capital intends to lay out the lithium carbonate industry, and has initially reached an intention. In the future, it can steadily supply raw materials to your company, ensuring that your company will not suffer losses in market competition. Always maintain the strongest competitiveness. Not only that, Qingtian Capital is also one of the most well-known public funds in the country. Although Mr. Li is young, he still made a profit exceeding the expected return against the trend. He is fully capable of protecting any company's stock in the secondary market. As long as Mr. Li invests in a company, it will become a benchmark in the financial market. For example, Song's shares, Mr. Li only held 5 points, but the stock price of Song's shares has tripled at most. Even now, the market is still doubling. What is the purpose of listing? Isn't it just for money? Who doesn't want to take 1 or 2 shares and cash out billions to improve their lives? After all, even if you keep your salary and pay tens of millions in dividends for a year, it is still not enough for the truly rich. Yao Yingsong continued, Mr. Zheng, working with Qingtian Capital is a win-win situation. Mr. Zheng of Ningco Limited, who is also 50 years old, wondered, 3 wins. You just talked about 2 aspects, right? And for these 2 aspects, we have other solutions. Yao Yingsong smiled, took out a report and handed it to the other party. The 3rd aspect I mentioned is in this report. But it can only be shown to Mr. Zheng. After reading it, I hope Mr. Zheng can help keep it confidential. Mr. Zheng didn't believe that anything else could convince him. So I took it and took a look. There's nothing complicated. The main thing is to write about Qingtian Capital's revenue this year. But after seeing the numbers, Mr. Zheng's expression changed. More than 20 billion? How many public offerings in the country can generate more than 20 billion in revenue? The financial industry has high profit margins, which he can understand. But the profit is more than 20 billion, and the expenditure cost is only more than 20 million? Is this scientific? Of course, the most important revenue comes from PDI funds, which comes from overseas. A total of 17 billion. When did Qingtian Capital have overseas projects? When he was about to ask Yao Yingsong, he suddenly found that after he picked up the report, there was an identity card under the report. An ordinary ID badge with Yao Yingsong's personal information on it. But the name of this identity tag is really a bit big. National Big Fund. Mr. Zheng originally had the intention to cooperate with overseas capital. After all, in A-shares, northbound funds have always been the weather vane. Which company goes public not just for money? He is also included. Stabilizing the stock price is the top priority, and raising the stock price is the ultimate goal. At this time, I saw Yao Yingsong's identity card, and then remembered that he had said that he was the general manager of Qingtian Capital. putting these two very inconsistent identities together, it suddenly became interesting. He waved away the secretary next to him and waited for a while before asking, "Does Qingtian Capital cooperate with major national funds?" Yao Yingsong smiled and said, "Mr. Zhang, this matter is confidential for the time being, but it will be made public soon." Yao Yingsong had to use tiger skin to make a coat, otherwise it would be impossible to convince the other party. The so-called confidentiality is just that it has not spread, and everyone deliberately handles this matter in a low-key manner. In fact, it doesn't matter even if it is made public. Mr. Zhang started to think. If it is true, it is exactly what Yao Yingsong said, a win-win-win situation. Whether he plans to increase his holdings or reduce his holdings in the future, someone will give him the all-clear. In the capital market, Ningde has almost nothing to fear. About 5 or 6 minutes later, he asked, "How much share is your company planning to take?" Yao Yingsong said seriously, "Not less than 15%. Li Yuan's target was 10%, leaving himself some room for negotiation. As soon as he finished speaking, Mr. Zhang sternly refused, "This is impossible." He was only willing to put up 10% for the IPO, and then the main board asked for a minimum of 20%, but we haven't reached an agreement yet. There is a high probability that it will go to the gem. It can be seen from this incident that Zhang always has lofty goals and he does not want to take out too much equity. He currently holds 38% of the shares and has no intention of taking them. If Li Yuan wants too much, he won't be able to get it together even if he tries to find a way. Yao Yingsong said, "Mr. Zhang, although I know that some words are inappropriate, but there is no one now, so it doesn't matter between the two of us. If you think it's useless, just pretend that I didn't say it." Mr. Zhang nodded. Yao Yingsong, "Based on my understanding of Mr. Li, he will not make a move without 3 to 5 times the profit. The current valuation of Ningde shares in the capital market is only more than 50 billion, and the shares are more and less. In fact, it is not what does it matter? We can sign a concerted action resolution and hand over the company's equity to Mr. Zhang. When playing with capital, of course it will only taste better if we all work together to make the plate bigger, don't you think?" Mr. Zhang fell into deep thought again. The number 3 to 5 times really stimulated him. His original goal was to double the stock price, which would be great. After all, there are several domestic companies in the field of power batteries, and at present, the application scenarios are not that big. A market value of 100 billion has been hatched in this industry, which has almost reached its peak. The limitations of the times will appear in everyone. I can only give 10% at most. Mr. Zhang said after thinking about it. Yao Yingsong shook his head and said, "Let's not worry about those points. How about we each take a step back, 13%, what do you think?" "I will think about it." Mr. Zhang did not agree immediately. Others can only offer about 5% of the shares. The more Li Yuan wants, the more he will have to offer himself. "Well, I'm waiting for the good news from Mr. Zhang. You can consider it slowly. Our company has always been very efficient and the entire process can be completed in 2 or 3 days." Mr. Zhang. This sentence is really heartbreaking. What does it mean to be efficient? After considering it for a long time, you are going to find another company. For example, Kuoksuan shares. This young man is too oily. Okay, I will reply as soon as possible. After leaving Ningde Limited, Yao Yingsong felt a lot more relieved. He felt that he should be almost there. This company is actually relatively easy to say, because their purpose is relatively simple, just to get money. But the other one is having a hard time. Mindray medicine is generally more ordinary, which means that people need more things. More than just financial market security, something else is needed. Those are things that Qingtian Capital cannot currently provide. They want to enter the high-end equipment market, and they need connections that ordinary people cannot leverage. When it comes to market operations, Qingtian Capital really can't help at all. Ning does not need these. He didn't dare to contact the other party rashly before he had any idea. Just like that, it's Wednesday. In the afternoon, Mr. Zheng gave the answer. 13% of the shares were transferred to Qingtian Capital at a valuation of 50 billion, and Qingtian Capital only needed to spend 6.5 billion. On this day, Yao Yingsong finally dared to call Li Yuan. First, he sent a message to ask Li Yuan if it was convenient. After receiving Li Yuan's reply, he called Li Yuan immediately. "Boss." Looking at manager Yao's tone, he seems very happy. "No, no, no, I'm just relieved that I didn't cause any trouble to the company." "Oh? What do you say?" "It's like this. Mr. Yu has arranged something for me. I know that you, boss, are interested in investing in some companies. I just made a deal with Ningco Limited, and Ningco Limited is willing to give 13% of the shares." "Oh, Ningco Limited is a good company." "Yes, Mr. Yu has a unique vision." He didn't dare to leave this matter to Li Yuan. After all, once it was revealed that it was Li Yuan's request, there would be more conflicts with the big national fund. Moreover, the company is solely owned by Li Yuan, and any future profits will belong to Li Yuan and have nothing to do with Yu. In fact, he also knew that this was a trap dug by Yu for him. After all, he couldn't flatter Li Yuan and had to go against him. But he could only jump down. All in all, Yu made a lot of money this time. He was just an errand boy. Li Yuan said, "Then you should tell Mr. Yu the good news." "Why did you call me first?" "Yao Yingsong. Come on, why don't you be so cautious?" "Boss, it's like this. Mr. Yu has arranged something, but neither of us has a clue. I want to ask you for advice." "What's up?" "Mr. Yu is also interested in Mindray Pharmaceuticals, but Mindray Medicine is not easy to talk to. My subordinates have limited abilities and can only learn from you." Li Yuan said, "Mr. Yu's vision is indeed good. Mindray Pharmaceuticals is also a good company. It seems that I haven't been to the company during this time and you are doing a good job. Since you have asked me, I have nothing to explain. Yes, just do it with confidence and boldness." "Yao Yingsong." This sentence again? "Boss, I'm really panicking." "There is nothing to panic about. If it is done, it is your credit. If it is not done, the boss, will take the blame for you. Don't worry, what you talk about is equal to what I talk about." A few minutes later, Yao Yingsong hung up the phone. I originally wanted to ask Li Yuan how far he could go. In the end, Li Yuan said it was casual. Just go ahead and do it. So what if he agrees to someone else's conditions but Li Yuan doesn't agree? This evil man can only continue to act. He knew very well that these two companies must have been requested by Li Yuan. So, I could only make a call to Yu. It's just that when I called, I couldn't get through. Because Li Yuan was talking to Yu at this time. Li Yuan didn't expect Yao Yingsong to get one house so quickly, so he would definitely get the other one at all costs. He had to warn Yu and let Yu convey it to Yao Yingsong calmly, so that Yao Yingsong would not be able to relax his hands and feet. "Mr. Yu, congratulations. You arranged for Manager Yao to buy shares in Ning shares. Manager Yao has done it." Yu immediately said, "Boss, please don't laugh at me. I have nothing to congratulate. I am good at doing such big things. Just don't blame me." No wonder, no wonder. What's so surprising about such a good thing?" "But I heard that you are also planning to invest in Mindray Pharmaceuticals." Yes, I do have this idea." "Oh, then do it. As long as you can successfully invest in shares, it will be no problem even if you build a hospital." "Yes, Yes, with your words, boss, I feel more at ease. I have always been afraid that I can't do this well. The two chatted for a while, but Li Yuan had already given very clear instructions. That means don't be afraid of spending money. Doesn't Mindray Pharmaceutical just want market connections? Qingtian Capital indeed does not have, and cannot, let their company's equipment enter the purchase lists of those large hospitals. But they have money. Since those hospitals are unwilling to purchase, they will build their own hospitals. Li Yuan had this idea in mind. He would just work hard to earn enough money to build a hospital next year. It doesn't actually cost much to build a hospital. The equipment and daily operations of the hospital are the bulk of the money. It doesn't matter whether you make money or not, as long as the hospital can be useful. By then, if he stocked up on melt-blown cloth in advance, no one would say anything, right? He didn't want to make money from this, but he couldn't help but make some money, right? It's not too much to earn a talisman, by the way, right? After hanging up the phone, Li Yuan glanced at the time. It was already 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, good, class has already begun. If he goes at this time, wouldn't he slap the teacher in the face? Go to the next class. He took out his cell phone and planned to ask Chen Qi to bring him dinner after class was over. He had a feeling that he would fall asleep in the next class. Just as he finished speaking, he received another message. Cao Yuan, Li Yuan, are you in the dormitory now? Li Yuan did not reply. Can you do me a favor and take a photo with me? I want to send it to my fiancé to have a formal showdown with him. Li Yuan. I know it will be a little inconvenient, but don't worry, I promise that after I send it, I will delete all the photos in front of you. For the sake of my classmates, I want to ask you. I've arrived downstairs in your dormitory. After seeing it, Li Yuan replied, you can definitely find someone else. There will be many people willing to help you. It's different. I don't want him to know that my life is so bad. I want to tell him that missing me is something he should regret. This can be regarded as my last stubbornness in this humble relationship. Please do me a favor and I'll treat you to dinner later, okay? They posted it upside down, and I'm actually not satisfied with it. Author, Lao He. Chapter 208. Cao Yuan is actually not that disgusted. You know she means it, but she hides the bitch layer and only green tea attacks on you. A pure green tea bitch, she will throw everything at you, make her angry until she has a cerebral hemorrhage, and then pretend to be aggrieved and say that she is a victim. How did Tong Swafi Ipua him in her previous life? Always inadvertently. Forget it, it's a bit disgusting to think about. It has to be me, right? Li Yuan originally wanted to find some more excuses, but he felt that it didn't make much sense, so he simply showed his cards. Okay, wait for me for 2 minutes. Li Yuan got out of bed, put on his clothes, and walked down. Since Cao Yuan was determined to take a photo, no matter how much Li Yuan refused, she would persist. I'm too lazy to continue writing ink or anything else, lest I lose my mood. Everyone is not a good person anyway, and he doesn't care about his emotional reputation. The weather in December is already relatively cold, with temperatures hovering around 10 degrees Celsius every day. Cao Yuan wore a pink and white jacket, which made her look much cuter. She has a somewhat handsome appearance, and her facial features are very standard. There is nothing particularly amazing about her, but her biggest advantage is that she has no major shortcomings. Whatever you want, you can get it. For every advantage, you can outperform 80% of the people. If you add all the advantages together, you can also outperform 99% of the people. Basically, except for those with extraordinary talents, such as Xu Yanlin's figure and Zhang Yuling's temperament, few can beat her. Well, Anna Shen is most likely the kind to surpass her in all aspects. They happened to be in the School of Finance, and there was also Tong Sui who loved fish farming, so she didn't get much limelight. At this time, she was holding a cup of milk tea in her hand. When she saw Li Yuan coming, her eyebrows relaxed a lot, and she pushed the milk tea in front of Li Yuan with a smile. "Let me buy you a cup of milk tea first. I thought this cup of milk tea was a prop." Li Yuan reached out and took it. "Then, if you agree, you can use it as a prop." "Oh, okay, we're here anyway, what kind of photos do you want?" "I can't do the kind of people who dedicate themselves to art. I'm shy in front of the camera." Li Yuan's words immediately stunned Cao Yuan for a few seconds. Then he took out his mobile phone, found a few couple photos, and said, "Just take these photos. I want you to dedicate yourself to art." "I can't afford that price." "Haha, that's fine." Li Yuan took a cursory glance at the photos and found that they were all normal. For example, one wanted to put his arms around Cao Yuan's shoulders from behind. There was another one holding hands, and the last one was condescendingly dragging her chin and kissing her. Of course, it's not a real kiss, just a shot of the scene and atmosphere. These are all pretty normal photos. However, Li Yuan said, "I will have to make a mosaic of my photos at that time. If it gets spread, it will affect my ability to find a girlfriend in the future." "Don't you already have a girlfriend?" Li Yuan rolled his eyes. "You know I have a girlfriend and you are still looking for me? We are classmates, and for the sake of this cup of milk tea, I will cooperate with you to take a few photos. Don't do such sensitive things in the future, call me." "Okay." Li Yuan's rejection was already clear. In his previous life, Li Yuan didn't know much about Cao Yuan. Even though he had been her classmate for 4 years, he had not spoken to her much. But in this life, ever since she took the initiative to talk to herself about Anna Shen's problems, the label has been slapped on her, but it's just not that annoying. He is not as bitchy as Tong Sui, nor as arrogant as Anna Shen, and he belongs to the category of being able to speak. After finding a suitable venue, the two began to discuss taking the first photo. Li Yuan chose a good angle and put his hands on Cao Yuan's shoulders. "Hey, be natural. You have to show the kind of happiness that comes from your heart so that people can see it at a glance. Think about the sweet days you were with your fiancé at the beginning, and what state you were in at that time. This cup of milk tea of yours will definitely make a lot of money. I usually don't instruct others. If you can't help but laugh, forget it, just do it like you did when you first met me." Cao Yuan's expression is a bit dull, and the whole thing is not very coordinated, so she needs to be guided very carefully. Li Yuan found the feeling of shooting videos again. Until the last photo, when Li Yuan got close to Cao Yuan's face, the two were very close. He saw what he wanted in Cao Yuan's eyes. But it's not a good thing. As soon as he heard the shutter sound from the time-lapse shooting, Li Yuan immediately let go of Cao Yuan's waist and said, "It's done, remember to mosaic." Cao Yuan ran over and picked up the phone. When she was about to operate it, she found that Li Yuan had left. "Won't you watch me delete the photos with your own eyes?" "It's okay, I believe you." For Li Yuan, it doesn't matter whether he deletes it or not. Anyway, the friendship between classmates and milk tea, that's it. She will definitely delete what should be deleted, but if she doesn't want to delete it, even if she deletes it now, she will find a way to restore it, or repair the mosaic photos. "Wait a moment." Cao Yuan chased after him. She gasped and said, "I'm not lying to you, it's just that I suddenly felt very moved just now." She was a little stiff at first, but Li Yuan guided her for a long time. But the last action was completely different from the previous one. It made Li Yuan feel that he was deliberately playing tricks on him in order to get more guidance from him. Li Yuan smiled and said, it's okay, none of this is important. I have to go back, goodbye. Wait a minute, I want to delete it in front of you. She began to mosaic the photos she had taken before, and then deleted all the original images. She also cleared the recycle bin to ensure that she would not restore the original images privately. Then, she opened WeChat and found a contact. Li Yuan just took a look and found something wrong with the historical chat records between Cao Yuan and the other party. He only saw a historical chat record, and that record was a photo. A very sexy photo. It is illegal to put it on the internet. Although her face is not shown, her figure should be that of Cao Yuan. There is also a text below, there are many people in the dormitory today. I secretly came to the bathroom to take the photo. Can you please reply me with a message? But soon, the news was covered. Because Cao Yuan sent the photos she had just mosaicked. And paired with a sentence. I have also found a boyfriend. He is handsomer and richer than you. I will be better off without you. After sending it, she raised her head with a smile and said, thank you very much. If you are inconvenient at night, you can always come to me in the future. Or if I have a chance to meet you, I will definitely invite you. Good. Li Yuan didn't want to talk anymore. Because when he saw the message sent by Cao Yuan, he seemed to see his former self. Looking at the time of that message, it was more than 6 months ago. Li Yuan felt that Cao Yuan would not have laid out such a routine 6 months in advance. So, most likely she is actually a female licker? Does her ex-boyfriend no longer want her? And then she tried her best to save it? He doesn't even hesitate to post his own photos. He was a little disgusted. What I hate is not Cao Yuan, but my former self. Regardless of men or women, licking dogs will always be the most humble creatures in the world. It's okay to gain something, but to gain nothing and still give up all your dignity feels like an insult to the word dog. After all, if a dog licks it, it will get a few bones mixed in no matter how bad it is. I returned to the dormitory, played other things for a while, and received screenshot feedback from Cao Yuan. In the screenshot, the other party is asking her who her boyfriend is. Cao Yuan did not reply. Then there were some angry words from the man. The kind of words that will be mosaicked on any platform. Like a script? What is the purpose of this script? Li Yuan replied, I feel like you already knew that your fiancé was cheating on you. Why did you ask me to find someone to confirm it for you last night? Because I need a topic to chat with you. I can't just come up and tell you that I want to sleep with you, right? Cao Yuan, my fiancé's family is very rich, and we have known each other since high school. His parents saw that I studied well, so they got us engaged. I was very happy at the time, because the $1 million engagement shocked my worldview. It collapsed. With money, my family bought a house and a car. No matter relatives, friends, classmates, or teachers, everyone is envious of me. People are addicted to that feeling. Of course Li Yuan knew that, and he also enjoyed being praised by Yu. Less than a month after he went to the island country to study, he started to stop contacting me. More than a month later, his family said they wanted to get back the 500,000 in cash from the engagement. They scraped together everything and sold the car. Just put it all together. Then why do you still insist that you have a fiancé in school? Because I like rich people. If I say that I have a fiancé, most people will not have any thoughts about me. Only those who are truly powerful and have thoughts about me will not care about my fiancé or not. Sharp. This one is truly top-notch. It was similar to Anna Shen's path, but Anna Shen herself didn't take it well. And Cao Yuan was simply destined to lose her life. It just so happened that there was Anna Shen in the School of Finance who attracted too much aura, and there was also a certain Tong who raised fish everywhere. Caoyuan could not make her presence felt at all. Even if there is any big shot in the school, Anna Shen will be the first choice. It's a pity. I waited for more than a year and didn't get there. Then I heard that you were very good and tried to chat with you. At that time, it was my first time to make green tea seriously, and I was not very skilled. Is it fashionable to laugh at yourself now? It was the first time that Li Yuan heard a woman say that she was green tea. That's right. If you don't have money, no matter how handsome you are, I won't seduce you. Then why didn't you hook up with me anymore? It was obvious today that Caoyuan no longer made excuses, and even the excuse of inviting her to dinner was temporarily put aside by her. Because I'm afraid that I will really fall in love with you. I asked you to take photos, not to convince others, but to convince myself. I couldn't find anyone better than him, so I became his licking dog. Only by taking photos with you can I have the courage to pick them. Take off the collar he put on me. Li Yuan. Grass. It was exactly the same as what I had thought in my previous life. It's painful every time when I'm a licking dog, but I want to break free, but I'm a little reluctant to let go. After all, after investing so much, no one will be willing to accept it. And there was no one else to help him. For example, let him lick a bifume and jump out of Tong Swafi's big pit. Caoyuan continued, originally, I wanted to ask you if you wanted to support me. The money I asked for was not much, and it probably wasn't even pocket money for you. But when I took the photo, I found that I was really moved. I don't want to be collared anymore, so I have to give up. Why do you think I will support you? I'm sorry. I'm not bad looking, right? I can do what others can't do. As long as I have money, I don't mind whether the person who comes is a human being. Don't rich people just like to play exciting things? Serious women deserve to get married. Improper women are worth spending money on. Is this the position you have given yourself? Li Yuan felt that his desire to chat was stimulated by Caoyuan. It doesn't have to be something that will come out of the conversation, at least there is the idea of continuing the conversation. Now he has little desire to express or listen. He would rather read novels or watch some short videos. Otherwise, I have to find someone who is willing to give me money to spend, right? How about you give me some, and I will secretly go to the boys' dormitory to find you tonight? It doesn't matter even if your roommate is here. Didn't you just say you gave up on me? But I didn't give up the money. If you give me the money, I'll give it to you. It's a fair deal. It doesn't mean I'm trapping you, and I won't imagine that I can fall in love with you one day. Based on our chat history, we wouldn't feel aggrieved even if we were caught. How about you deal in cash? Cash is nothing. Where can I get so much cash? I'm not expensive. Master class beauty, your idea is very dangerous. That kind of money cannot be earned casually. It's okay to be honest and rich. As long as you don't go too far, there is a high probability that you will end up well in the end. But then how many honest people are there in a business like this? I didn't make any money, so I got myself involved. If you take the wrong path, you have to bear the risks involved. Anyway, Li Yuan is not greedy at all for making money like this, he is just risking his own life. If it were you, I'd be relieved. Originally, I thought that since you've helped me so much, it wouldn't be a big deal if I gave it to you for free once. But, I'll give it to you for free after I take the first payment. I've been short of money recently. Money. After posting this sentence, Caoyuan added another picture. That picture is someone's circle of friends. Probably that kind of agent status. The accompanying picture is a photo of Caoyuan, who has a good figure. The copywriting is, 19-year-old newcomer, student of Zhangzhou University, 168, 32c, if the boss takes it away, give a red envelope. Do you really want to come so directly? Caoun's speed was too fast, and the message on her circle of friends had just been posted. Yeah, I don't think about it anymore, it's time to think about myself. You are so generous, but I have a question to ask you. I know what you want to ask. I gave it to you and didn't sleep. Today's chapter is a little late. I originally wrote nearly 4,000 words at around 8 a.m., and then I received a piece of bad news. I have known Kyo Zinfan for a long time, and we even had dinner together at the 2019 UN annual meeting. Strictly speaking, I was still his senior, because at that time I became a great master before him. I have always admired authors who write history. I think their knowledge base is much better than mine. I also stay up late every day coding, deleting, revising, and revising every day. I used to be very lazy and never thought I could write 12,000 words a day. Later, when life became more stressful, I started to work hard. After receiving the news of his departure, I felt sad for a long time. Then I deleted more than 3,000 words from a chapter of nearly 4,000 words, and just added them just now. I will definitely do what I promised. Wishing us all a bright future. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. They posted it upside down, and I'm actually not satisfied with it. Author, Lao He. Chapter 209. In fact, Li Yuan doesn't mind paying. But he is really not lacking. And that's not the question he wanted to ask. After all, as long as his mind is not sick, he will not have any requirements for Caounyan. Since he doesn't want to spend the money, he naturally has no right to interfere in other people's lives. So after seeing Caounyan's reply, he knew that the chat should be terminated. After waiting for a while, Chen Chi came back with food from the canteen, and the three of them played a game together. During the game, Ma Chen Kai suddenly said, Lao Gu said he would come back in the evening and invite us to have supper. Why did he suddenly come back today on Thursday? Isn't it usually Sunday night? I guess it's almost exam month. You want to come back and read a book? Lao Li, will you go? Go ahead, who doesn't like eating and drinking for free? He got a salary of 100,000 yuan this month. Anyway, just keep an eye on it. He doesn't even have a girlfriend. If we don't help him spend some money, he will be tired of saving money. Gu Dongsheng is almost done. Because he has received reports like crazy recently, saying that he shows off his wealth on the internet, which has extremely bad influence. It is very likely that it will be hit at any time next year, and the traffic will plummet by then. In this world, there is no hatred without reason. If there is, it is because you have blocked other people's way of making money. Li Yuan had already prepared for this. Recently, Gu Dongsheng has been exposed to the cosmetics industry. He didn't think much of the series of things Gu Dongsheng said before. There is no point in making tens of millions to 1 or 200 million. Gu Dongsheng must be hatched into a symbol worth more than 1 billion, otherwise it will be a huge loss. If an internet celebrity wants to survive for a long time, it must be represented by a symbol that can continue to spread. If he can't create Zhao culture, he can only attack business. He will only be free for 2 weeks at most, and then the second phase will begin. He hasn't figured out what to do in the second phase yet. There wasn't much trouble on Wall Street last time, but it was basically the last chance. The market situation in the second period will be even worse, and the probability of wasting time is relatively high. Especially when the Federal Reserve recently released a batch of data, the liquidity of the entire Western market has dropped significantly. It is almost foreseeable that the next financial market will be very difficult. If he dares to place a short order, the capital market will go crazy. Because they have no money to begin with, opening a short order is equivalent to giving away money. Are they still determined to take a big bite? This is why when the market is bad, the number of short orders is smaller. Don't dare to open, can't afford to open. It is generally believed that short orders make money when the market is bad, but the reality is that only when the market is good, there is room for short orders to survive. It's like a very hungry person who has countless weapons in his hands, but cannot exchange for food. As a result, you showed up with food and wanted to buy the weapons from the other party, but at a lower price. Then others will directly tie you up and ask your family to continuously send food to you, instead of making deals with you at low prices. Even short orders without leverage will inevitably carry infinite leverage. As the game ended, the three of them began to simply clean up. Li Yuan asked, "Where is Lao Gu?" They said, "Let's go to the Hilton first." Li Yuan, "Huh? Why are you going to the Hilton? It's only after 8 o'clock. Why don't you just go back to the dormitory after dinner?" Ma Chenkai. Li Yuan knew it when he saw Ma Chenkai didn't speak. The feeling is that this guy has a project. It was probably given by Gu Dongsheng. "Old Chen, what about you?" Chen Qi and Gu Dongsheng are in a very delicate relationship now, after all, because of the Tian Tian incident. "I don't know. It depends on the situation. I won't come back if I have a room. I haven't stayed in a 5-star hotel yet." "Damn it, you want to live in the room that Lao Gu opened for you? Can't you have some backbone?" "It's okay, I've already talked to him." "What did you talk about?" Li Yuan had told Gu Dongsheng not to tell him even to death. "There's nothing to talk about. Just ask him." Next, the three of them went out together. Li Yuan started sending messages to Gu Dongsheng on the way, asking him what he was talking about with Chen Qi. After learning the content of the chat, he was completely confused. Chen Qi actually asked Gu Dongsheng to take care of Tian Tian? Damn it, what kind of crazy thing is this? Isn't the illness cured? Why do you think the symptom is getting worse? After taking a taxi in front of the school, Li Yuan said to Chen Qi, "Old Chen, you are so good to Lao Gu, do you really think of him as your illegitimate son? You are so outrageous that you give him a car and a room. I don't think so. In the world I've seen people giving green plums as gifts, what do you think? Anyway, as long as she is happy, that's fine, but, did you really ask? What if?" Oh. Li Yuan felt that something was wrong with Chen Qi's behavior. Especially when I heard Chen Qi ask, "Did you really ask?" The scene is wrong. You guys, have you started learning the art of war? Haha, I can't just allow you to trick me, and not allow me to trick you, right? Chen Qi laughed and seemed to have a sense of accomplishment in his design. Li Yuan sighed and said, "It's no use playing tricks in front of us. If you have the ability, you can catch that Tian Tian and get rid of him. That's your ability." Chen Qi deliberately said those words to Gu Dongsheng. As long as Li Yuan asked Gu Dongsheng, he would be shocked and come over to ask Chen Qi. What Chen Qi needs is to obtain this information. Understanding this information means that Li Yuan is more concerned about this matter. Who is the soul in the entire dormitory? There is no doubt that it is Li Yuan. If something really happened between Gu Dongsheng and Tian Tian, would Li Yuan send out a special message to sow discord between roommates? Provoking and caring at the same time. Isn't this a contradiction? He was not sure before, but after receiving feedback from Li Yuan, he was sure. Then just wait, it won't take long before I catch her. After Chen Qi said this, Li Yuan smiled. You want to use money to break it open? Sorry, you probably don't have as much money as me. If you can break it open, do you think I can break it open? Chen Qi. You, Li Yuan, don't like Tian Tian, do you need it? He knew that Li Yuan's words were telling him not to think about spending money. Money can be used as a tool, but if you give money to others, it becomes a tool in the hands of others. Chen Qi was so obsessed with Tian Tian that Li Yuan had to remind him. Well, I understand. Let's come back alive first. Then, come back to the dormitory with me tonight. I really don't want to run to the dormitory alone. The two of us have company. It was a cold day. If these guys didn't come back, there would be no need for me to come back. If I don't go back, I want to experience a 5-star hotel. If I fail, this will be my only chance in my life. Li Yuan. Okay, everyone, please stop replying. He sent a message to Gu Dongsheng and asked Gu Dongsheng to book a room for him. If it were Friday or Saturday, he could still go to Xu Yanlin's place. But today, Wednesday, Xu Yanlin didn't come back again. Soon, the car arrived at the hotel, and then I saw Gu Dongsheng in the lobby. Eating is definitely not here. There is not much to eat in a hotel like this in the middle of the night. Everyone took a room card and took Gu Dongsheng's car to a nearby restaurant that was still open. While eating, Gu Dongsheng said, "Old Li, I heard that the class beauty made secret glances at you at the dinner party last night. How do you feel?" "How about what?" "Nonsense, Cao Yuan has a lot of attributes, she is good looking, and she has a fiancé, the main thing is the latter, have you already got it?" "Are you really sick?" "That's a classmate. How could I do something like that?" "You seem to be classmates with Xu Yanlin and Wen Yuxian." "It seems like it is." The matter between Li Yuan and Xu Yanlin was not a big deal. At most, I think they are in love or something. But what happened with Wen Yuxian was known to everyone on the internet. Because of this, he was scolded a lot. After all, lickers don't care about right or wrong. Wen Yuxian has the capital to attract countless hot sheep to charge her. Anyway, Li Yuan couldn't figure out why his goddess would scold her ex-boyfriend after they broke up with her. Damn it, shouldn't you be thanking the other party? At least the chance of having a goddess has gone from 0 to 1 in 4 billion. The meal was almost done, but Ma Chunkai had a donkey face and disappeared as soon as he went to the toilet. After going to the toilet again, Chen Qi also ran away. "I can understand you arranging projects for Lao Ma, but you also arranged for Lao Chen." Gu Dongsheng said nothing and smiled. Li Yuan sighed with emotion, "You have really changed, it has only been a few months." "Damn, you have become so vulgar." Gu Dongsheng said, "You are a full man but you don't know that a hungry man is hungry." Li Yuan said helplessly, "Then you can think of a better name and let the company reimburse it when the time comes." Li Yuanzhen didn't spend much money on his roommate. He just treated him to a few meals, and they were all at cheap places. It ranges from dozens to hundreds of dollars. Forget it, if they spend my money, they won't have any psychological burden. If they spend your money, they will probably be under a lot of pressure, and they are all waiting to finally make a big profit from you. Haha, you know very well how stressful it is to make money from me. For someone like you, you can earn tens of millions per year in any company, but here you don't even get 1 million after tax. Internet celebrity tax is 20%. Even if Gu Dongsheng earns 100,000 yuan a month, it is not much money. But think about it, it's also Gu Dongsheng's character. In his previous life, Gu Dongsheng was kinder to his friends. The other 3 people in the dormitory all owed him a lot of money, but he never asked for it. I'm the only one who brought me here alone, and no one else gave me 2,000 yuan. At least you gave me a basic salary of 2,000 yuan. Gu Dongsheng still knows very well that opportunity is more important than hard work. Without opportunities, there is no direction for efforts. Li Yuan didn't refute. After chatting with Gu Dongsheng for a few more words, the two of them took the car back to the hotel. Staying in a hotel alone is actually quite boring. After replying a few messages, I suddenly received a message from Gu Dongsheng. Have you slept? Do you want me to arrange one for you too? Forget it, no need. You will never understand what it feels like to be a full man like me. I have no interest in those women at all. Is there any difference in what I have arranged for you? Please, if you turn off the beauty filters of those internet celebrities, there will be a few good-looking ones. Haven't you heard a sentence? What words? The goddess is in the private room. No more nonsense, I'm going to bed, I have something to do tomorrow. He will go to the company tomorrow to cooperate with the company in completing the contract with Ningco, Ltd. Spending 6.5 billion at once, the pressure is much reduced. It is definitely better than investing in a fund. After all, if you invest in a fund, you will lose money for at least a month. Suddenly a large amount of money enters the market, and someone may cut it off. Both companies will be listed next year, and the overall realization cycle is not long, giving them greater room for operation. Anyway, when you have money, go buy, it's definitely right. Put down the phone and just got ready to lie down. Then I heard a voice coming from the door. Door opening? With the sound of unlocking, he sat up from the bed. Then, he saw Cao Yuan walking over with her bag in front of her. Hello, boss. Li Yuan. It was as if suddenly everything fell into place. Gu Dongsheng came back inexplicably, and then the other two roommates in the dormitory had to stay in the hotel for no apparent reason. Even Gu Dongsheng considered that there was a high probability that he would not be able to open the door, so he prepared an extra room card for Cao Yuan. How much did Gu Dongsheng spend? He asked. Cao Yuan said in surprise, how do you know? Because I never thought about staying in a hotel. I asked you, why don't you go find Gu Dongsheng? He has money. He doesn't dare. Why? I don't know either. He came to me with the agent's moments. I thought it was him at first, but I didn't expect that he directly transferred 50,000 yuan to me and asked me to come to the hotel to get a room card. Then what? Then I guessed it was you. Cao Yuan sat down as she spoke. Li Yuan saw her carefully dressed appearance and knew that she had said something against her will. I must not have guessed it was me, otherwise I wouldn't need to dress up. Wearing a hip-hugging skirt on a cold day? After all, she had already made it so clear, and she obviously didn't think much about it. If it wasn't for herself, then she would most likely have accepted it. Cao Yuan said, it's rare for us to be together, why don't we chat? I will return Gu Dongsheng's money later. Back off now. When Cao Yuan heard this, she said oh and silently took out her mobile phone. Soon, she showed Li Yuan the transfer interface on her mobile phone and said, I've made a trip anyway. Is it okay to sleep on the sofa here at night? No. Li Yuan refused directly. Cao Yuan pursed her lips and said, you don't have to be so heartless, right? I can't pay for the taxi fare without making any money, right? Li Yuan pointed to the seat next to him and said, sleep here. How? No, it won't be for free, at least not this time. You can call me anytime in the future. I have refunded the money. If I hadn't refunded the money, it might still be about the same. Cao Yuan stood up and prepared to leave. Li Yuan said, Gu Dongsheng's money is as good as mine. Cao Yuan stopped and looked back at Li Yuan. To be honest, I would rather take Gu Dongsheng's money. At least from the time I decided to contact that agent, I never thought about taking a penny from you. They posted it upside down, and I'm actually not satisfied with it. Author, Lao He. Chapter 210. Is it time for you to give me money now? Even if it's not 50,000 yuan, 10,000 yuan is not too much, right? I'm sleepy, go to sleep quickly. It was already past 2 o'clock in the morning, and Li Yuan was really sleepy. Cao Yuan couldn't sleep. She wants money. Her ex-fiancé spent 1.05 million on her house, including 500,000 in betrothal gifts, 500,000 in banquets, 30,000 in meeting gifts, and 20,000 in pocket money. Later, the ex-fiancé met a girlfriend abroad and asked to break off the engagement. In the end, the family returned more than 500,000 yuan. When they first received a betrothal gift of 500,000 yuan and a meeting gift of 30,000 yuan, the family spent 200,000 yuan on a car and more than 200,000 yuan as a down payment on a house. The current situation is that the monthly mortgage loan is 5,000 yuan. In order to raise more than 500,000 yuan, my parents sold the car and borrowed more than 200,000 yuan from relatives and friends. For more than a year, she spent her time in a state of uncertainty, trying hard to save the relationship, because as long as she saved it, her family would not have to refund the bride price. She doesn't even mind if the other party has a girlfriend abroad, as long as he can marry her after returning to China. I took a large-scale photo of myself, hoping to make the other person change his mind, but in the end, the other person had no idea of continuing except getting worse. At any time and in any scene, he allowed himself to take pictures for him to see. She knew that she had fallen into it, and finally she couldn't bear it anymore, so she thought of using Li Yuan's identity to completely end this thought. Now she felt a little uneasy. Because really no one can reject Li Yuan. He is handsome, has a good figure, is young, and has a ridiculous amount of money. No matter which point, kill that ex-fiancé instantly. She finally jumped out of that pit and fell into this pit again. If you really want to fall in love with this guy, sooner or later you will be reduced to a bitch. Even if you don't give him money, you will rush to give it away. If it were someone else, she would have no psychological pressure at all. If you don't give me money, I will find someone else. But when I'm with Li Yuan, I can't even think of looking for someone else. Because I like it, I feel guilty. While taking pictures during the day, that moment of looking at each other penetrated the seed, and it slowly sprouted. Seeing Li Yuan asleep, she also got under the quilt. Then he tilted his head on Li Yuan's shoulder and hugged his arm. She had thought about it, and she must find Li Yuan to get her own money during the day. If you don't give me money, I won't do it. A rich man like him certainly doesn't want to go out to find other people every night, right? So, you can definitely get the money. When she woke up the next day, the room was still dark. However, after pressing the curtain switch at the bedside, I found that it was already noon outside, and the sunlight was even a bit dazzling. And Li Yuan is no longer here. She panicked. After looking carefully at the entire room, she only saw a few bags on the sofa outside. She was sure that Li Yuan was really gone. She hurried to find her clothes. Only when I got it did I remember that I had worn a short skirt last night. The clothes she brought out were still in the bag in the hotel lobby. She called and asked the hotel front desk to bring the bag up. Then I saw several other bags on the sofa. What first attracted her was the logo on the bag, a luxury brand. Curiosity drove her to open it and found that it was full of clothes. 4 whole bags. Half an hour later, she compared pictures on the internet and found prices for several pieces of clothing. The total cost is 80,000 yuan. Unfortunately, the receipt was not found. If there was a receipt, she could take it to the store to return it, but she didn't wear it anyway. So she sent a message to Li Yuan. Can you give me the receipt for those clothes? Are you at school? I'll get them. Soon, Li Yuan replied, even if you take it and refund it, the money will only go back the way it came and will not go into your bank card. Then give me money. Li Yuan stopped replying. Cao Yuan changed her clothes, carried a few bags, and took a taxi back to school. Li Yuan, Where are you? I don't want clothes. I'm back to school. Can you say something back? She returned to the dormitory and found that there was no one there. It's already past 10 o'clock, and there was originally a class in the second period today. But she had no intention of attending classes. She just wanted to ask Li Yuan for money. Even if you are a bit more handsome and I don't do that well, you still have to give me 5,000 yuan, right? I need money very much now, can you be considerate to me? Okay, consider me unlucky. If I don't ask you for money, I'll find someone else. In this way, about half an hour passed, and Li Yuan replied, Who are you looking for? Cao Yuan was immediately frightened. I'm not looking for anyone. That's not what you just said. I just said it out of anger, nothing else. Oh, I don't believe it. Cao Yuan. She found herself panicking again. After all, more than 80,000 yuan of clothes were not given to her even by her ex-fiancé. Not to mention that Li Yuan's own charm is rarely matched by anyone. If you miss this kind of man, it will definitely be a lifetime thing. Ah! She was going crazy in the dormitory. He could only calm down and send a message to Li Yuan. I'm sorry, I don't want any more money. Thank you for your clothes. I like them very much. Whenever you want to see me next time, I will wear it for you. I promise not to mention money in front of you again. If I perform well, can you give me a reward? I don't mean anything else, just. A few minutes later, Li Yuan replied, I'm at the school gate. Come over and give you a gift. After Cao Yuan saw it, she sighed. The gift from Li Yuan was definitely not cheap, but it was of little use to her. Even if the clothes are not worn, the clothes worth 80,000 yuan can only be sold as second-hand. Maybe it could be sold for a few $1,000s. After all, the adaptability of this thing is very low, and second-hand stores don't necessarily need it. Unless it's the kind of clothes that have collectible value. She put on the new clothes given by Li Yuan and walked outside the school. The new clothes really look good on her, especially since she is a little thinner, and they can perfectly fit any style of clothes. Whether she is fatter or thinner, it looks good on her. 10 minutes later, she arrived at the door and saw the car. She knew that it was because Xu Yanlin got into this car that the gossip spread. But she was okay, not as eye-catching as Xu Yanlin. When he arrived at the car, Li Yuan opened the door. After she went up, she said, Please, you have to make another trip, sorry. I really just can't take it anymore. Even now I feel like I need to lie down. Li Yuan took a bag and placed it in front of Cao Yuan and said, It's for you. Cao Yuan didn't even look at it, she quickly lowered her head and said, Thank you. After reaching out to take it, she felt something was wrong. Document bag? Is Li Yuan buying a house for himself? Is this a billionaire? Or bought a car? But after I bought it, I felt something was wrong. Whether it is the green book for the car or the red book for the house, they all have a certain hardness. There seem to be only a few thin pieces of paper in this document bag. It's okay. Anyway, she can accept anything, as long as Li Yuan can forget what she said. Open it, look at it, and sign it. Ah, good. Cao Yuan opened the document bag and took out a few pieces of paper from it. The content has been written above, but there are still some gaps. Is this a contract? Well, I registered a company. The company will pay you your salary every month. Fill in your personal information and bank card information. They will send you the salary for that month on the 15th of every month. The entire month's salary will be paid on the 15th of the month. She immediately opened the back of the contract and saw the amount. 130,000. It's just a labor agreement, not a labor agreement, because Cao Yuan is a college student and cannot sign a labor agreement. The company does not pay 5 social insurances and 1 housing fund, but Cao Yuan needs to handle personal income tax herself, and the tax rate is 20%, which means that Cao Yuan can probably get a little more than 100,000. You really gave me so much. You have to work. I know I won't die, don't worry. Li Yuan. I'm talking about the company. Go check it out yourself and figure out what to do. The company has 5 million in its books. We don't have the funds to replenish it today. We'll talk about it next year. Also, I won't delay you in finding a boyfriend. Whatever, I can go to you anytime if I want to, and I won't look for you for no reason, just treat you as a classmate. In Li Yuan's view, several million is not expensive. There is no need to invest any emotions in yourself. The most expensive thing is love, and he doesn't have much investment in anyone now. Zhou Ranran, Zhang Yuling, and Xu Yanlin probably only invested a little bit. It's to the point where if something happens to them, I will feel distressed. As long as Cao Yuan has a boyfriend, he can just fire her immediately. It's impossible for him to give money directly anyway. Just an ordinary classmate. Otherwise, if I don't want you, don't sign. Yes, yes, I sign. Cao Yuan could not refuse the money. But who doesn't want to be greedy? Get money and people. About half an hour later, Cao Yuan filled out all the contracts. Li Yuan put away the contract, gave Cao Yuan a key and a business card, and said, "The company is over there, and I'll give you the key. There's a phone number on the business card. If you want to go to the company, call her anytime." Then you go back first, I still have things to do. Huh. This is the entrance to the school, and there aren't many cars. What? You still want to attract others to watch the show, right? Li Yuan saw Cao Yuan's expression and felt that this woman was really crazy. I'm just a little embarrassed to take so much money all at once. It would be good if you don't act too exaggerated in front of your classmates in the future. Well, I know, thank you boss, I love you carrot. Cao Yuan smiled, opened the car door and walked out. Li Yuan called the driver, and about 2 minutes later, the driver got in the car. Back office. He was busy with this matter in the morning, but he was not yet busy with the contract signing with Ningco, Ltd. I just happened to have a meal at the company. Cao Yuan returned to the dormitory before school was over. So I went to the canteen in advance to buy some food. As a result, before the meal was finished, I found that 130,000 yuan was credited to my bank card. Is this the efficiency of a big boss? Don't rush to file your taxes, we'll wait until the end of the year. She transferred 120,000 yuan to her family. On the way back to the dormitory, I received a call from home. I have a new boyfriend. My family is very rich. The pocket money he gave me, you use it to pay off your debt first, and I will give you 120,000 next month. I don't care. You should pay off the debt quickly. Don't spend it. If I break up with him, I won't have any money to give you in the future. The debt at home is mainly my responsibility. When my parents asked me if I wanted to agree, I agreed, otherwise my parents would definitely respect my wishes. She didn't know how many months Li Yuan could give her, so she mainly paid off her debts at first, and she would use the money to improve her parents' lives later. After returning to the dormitory, after staying for a while, the roommates came back with their meals. Yuan, why didn't you go to class today? The teacher called your name again. Cao Yuan said sheepishly, my fiancé came back last night, so he didn't go back to the dormitory. Is everything okay? Really or not? Let him treat us to dinner, otherwise we won't let you go out tonight. Um, he has already left, but I will ask you tonight. If this happens again next time, please help me answer. If you miss class once in a while, it won't have any impact, but if you miss class 3 times in a semester, it will most likely affect your grades. Without the usual score, almost no one can pass the exam. Don't worry. If you said it last night, I will answer it for you today. Your clothes are very nice. Did your fiancé give them to you? Yes, yes, but I don't know what brand it is. It's true. Search and search. Then, the dormitory started taking photos and searching online. Caounun actually understood, otherwise she wouldn't have known it when she saw the bag. But, why should she understand? Soon, a girl exclaimed, Yuan, how rich is your fiancé? Why does a top like this cost 26,000? I feel comfortable wearing it. I didn't expect it to be so expensive. I will definitely not let him spend money randomly next time. I used to say that I had a fiancé, but I just didn't want people with no money to harass me. But now, he can use this name to openly show off the things Li Yuan gave him. Including the money you spend every month in the future, you can use it as a shield to buy something for yourself. Block the bastard ex-fiancé so that his boss won't be angry. Last night I thought Li Yuan was cold and ruthless, but now I suddenly feel that he is extremely gentle. Well, great gentleness are two advantages. The note she gave Li Yuan was changed to boss. Then started sending him some messages. Boss, come to class this afternoon. I didn't go out at night. I was just thinking about my boss in bed. If you don't believe me, boss, just look, my whole body is thinking about you, picture. Good night, boss. Good morning, boss. I've been missing you since I woke up. I accidentally watched Morse code for a while in class today. I especially want to say something to you. Dot comma dot comma dot comma dot comma dash comma dot comma dash dot comma dot comma dash comma dot.